Alenko.
This week, our favorite gaming companies are strengthening their history with rumors of Sony bringing backwards compatibility to the PS4, Microsoft Studios taking ownership of Gears of War, and Nintendo bringing dual-screen games to the console. Your comments and more on this episode of the show where every gamer has a voice.
Orange Lounge Radio.
Hello, my friends out there on the internet, and welcome back to another week of the show where every gamer has a voice. It is Orange Lounge Radio, live with episode number 538 for this February the 2nd of 2014. Happy Puppy Bowl Sunday, everybody. It's a big, big day today.
Kitten Bowl.
Kitten Bowl, Puppy Bowl. Hey, my name's Rob Roberts, and that other voice you hear over there is the one and only Dark Sakura, or Jamie Summers.
Sup, bitches?
Hi. How you doing, Jamie?
Feisty.
Were you really excited about all the big games going on today?
Well, yeah, I played some Mass Effect today, and it was great.
That's the only game you need, right?
Well, yeah. Now that I got text mod working.
There you go. There you go. So have you watched the Puppy Bowl or the Kitty Bowl yet? And how did you choose?
No, I didn't watch any, but I've been looking at Tumblr, and Tumblr's been taking care of it for me because then I can watch both through the power of animated GIFs.
That's true.
GIFs!
Who needs picture-in-picture and all that stuff anymore when you just have Twitter and it just tells you everything you need to know, and Facebook and all that stuff?
Well, that, and they were talking about the sports ball stuff in the front room, and I felt my brain shutting down and my eyes glazing over, and I had to leave. So...
we do tape live, and if you're joining us live and skipping the big football game to listen to our show, first off, thanks. We really appreciate it. If you are participating with us, head on over to our chat room, live.vognetwork.com, because we do tape live every Sunday night at 6 o'clock Pacific, 9 o'clock Eastern, right after the Bobby Blackwolf show. Loki is not here tonight, Techmaster Loki, as y'all know. They had a new baby a couple weeks ago, Loki and Mrs. Loki, so he is still off on baby leave. He'll be back soon. We don't know if he'll be back next week or the week after. Jason has been filling in a lot lately, but he is also not here tonight because, of course, the Super Bowl stuff going on. He decided to go to a party, and he's earned it. He comes here from San Francisco, which is quite the drive every week or so. But you know what? Because I know a lot of you are distracted with the big game going on, I got a few stunts up my own sleeve here on how we can have ourselves a heck of a show here on the Big Puppy Bowl Sunday. So we've got some special guests in studio. One of them I told you was going to be here, and he is here in the house. He hasn't been on Orange Lounge Radio in a very long time, but you might know of him from his frequent phone calls to the show or his time on Horde House. Everybody say hello to Shane.
Hello.
How you doing, Shane?
I'm okay. My old coworker needs some contact information for work.
Wait, so you're having to work during the show? You haven't come to the show in 5 years, and you want to work during the show?
This mic is really fuzzy.
Yeah, because I have a cat. I don't know what to tell you.
Okay. So, yeah, just real quick. You can keep talking. I'll pretend I'm listening.
All right. So what brings you out here to California? You're visiting from Kansas.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you live in Kansas?
Because it's where I live.
All right. Well, you're out here in California. Why?
An airplane took me here.
Okay. It's a very good answer. What do you here to plug or promote these days? Do you have like a Twitter or something? I don't know. What egotistical way should you promote yourself today?
I don't know. I don't plug anything. I plug my ears when I'm listening to this show or Horde House.
Hey, watch it. Watch it.
He plugs in his charger.
Fine. Then you know what? We're going to move on. Shane, believe it or not, I don't know how, but has fans in our chat room over at live.vognetwork.com. SJ100 Matt says, yay, Shane. Tiger Claw says, well, Shane's got to pay them bills, so he has to work no matter what.
Yes.
So, all right, fine. Well, we'll check back in with you later. I do have some other guests here in studio tonight. This is very exciting. I promised some big stunts for Puppy Bowl Sunday, and I can't think of a bigger stunt than this guy I'm about to introduce. Everybody say hello to, from the Horde House podcast, Xtofer is here live in studio.
Oh, hello there, Rob.
Hello, Xtofer.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm better now that you're here and that you're a part of Orange Lounge Radio officially. You haven't been on this show in a very long time. I know we lived together.
It's been perhaps 7 years.
And it's been about that long.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Ever since Orange Lounge Radio was its own network and we had Xtofer's Case of the Mondays.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what have you been up to for the last 7 years?
Oh, getting fat, getting skinny, then getting fat again, then getting skinny again. I'm Oprah. Is what I'm saying.
I mean, for the listeners who don't know, you did lose a lot of weight. You lost what, like 120 some odd
Okay,
pounds?
so
You lost a supermodel.
I was at one point 335 pounds, and I was down to 195 at one point.
Mm-hmm.
And it all happened because my doctor said I was low or high cholesterol, and so because my liver enzymes are too high, I had to do it by myself. I had to diet by myself. I couldn't rely on any gimmicks or medications or anything like that. So I just kicked my ass, and I went to the gym, and I grew this passion for the gym. So now I regularly go. I try to go at least 5 times a week, and I love it. Are you guys hearing me?
No, you're fine.
Okay.
The gym is the best thing ever.
Yes.
Once you get hooked on going, then you really get hooked on going.
Yes, and it's good to have a habit, build the habit of going, and I'm just loving it. So that's my.
Now, since this is a program about video games and video gaming and all that stuff, did you use any of the Wii Fit or any of the technology stuff?
No, but I do have a Fitbit.
Do you?
Yeah.
Me too.
And I really like it. I have the Fitbit Flex, the one that you wear on your wrist. And
I have the one that you put on your pants.
Yeah, my sister has that one.
Yeah.
She puts it in her bra. And I really
Me too. You guys aren't here.
I believe you. And I really enjoy the Fitbit. I haven't worn it in a little while because after the move, I think I misplaced it. We just moved into our own house, and so anyways, yeah, but it's good. I don't rely on gimmicks like that though. I didn't use Wii Fit. I train with a trainer, and I actually last year, like in September, decided that I wanted to do a program to learn to become a personal trainer myself. So I tried to stick with that. I kind of fell off the bandwagon about, I don't know, October, and it's taken me kind of like a lot of energy to try and get back on that. But I'm hoping that once I regain my focus and everything, that I could pick that right back up again and finish it. So.
Well, you look like you're doing fine to me, so,
Thank you.
You're welcome. So let's talk about video games a little bit.
Okay.
You, obviously, I'm sure a lot of our listeners know, you are one of the hosts of Horde House, so hordehouse.com if you want to check that out. And do you have any other internet projects going on these days? Things like Twitters to pimp or Facebooks or other ego promotion things?
Well, I stream regularly at twitch.com, Twitch TV /EXTOPHER.
Why I gotta spell it all weird?
The way I usually spell Xtofer was taken, so I had to kind of improvise. So EXTOPHER.
And what types of games do you stream?
I stream a lot of Rayman Legends.
Big fan?
If you like Rayman Legends, then my channel is what you want to watch. I love that game so much.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny because our show, Horde House, is online games, and I tend to talk about console games every single time we have a show. Because
console games are an online experience.
Yeah. There are many console games that have online experiences, but I've just been in a very big console gaming phase, and so a lot of the games I stream are very like single player games that are very limited with their online connectivity. But I streamed the entirety of Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons,
which I still haven't finished, but it's good. I've played that. You were hyping that up on Horde House.
Right? I cried on my stream,
baby.
I know. It was pretty pathetic. You can call me a pussy if you want. It's fine. Although I don't have a vagina, Rob does. So
lies.
If you listen,
and girl bits should never be used as an insult.
No. I think that his vagina is very empowering. It makes me feel. It makes me feel like a butterfly in springtime, is what I want to say.
So it makes you feel
Just stop.
douchely fresh.
Just stop.
Yes. I feel like I'm in touch with Summer's Eve.
Just stop.
And you guys expect this from me, by the way, because I mean I coined bleach asshole on this like.
You
At
actually
my house.
You invented
Yeah.
them. Yeah,
At
you
my
did.
house.
Let's see.
Anyways, so yeah, what?
Tiger Claw in our chat room at live.vognetwork.com asks, do you think they'll make a follow-up to Brothers called Sisters?
Wasn't that a Lifetime show?
No, I think you're thinking Sister Sister. There might have been a Lifetime show called Sisters.
No, I don't think they will. I think this one was pretty contained in itself.
All
You should
right.
play it. It's really good. It's only a 3-hour game. It's really good.
Codeman's in our chat saying he was watching the stream and he cried watching it.
That doesn't surprise me. It's
All right.
it's one of
I
those
haven't
games.
cried yet, but I'm only in like chapter 4 or something.
You haven't
I'm
gotten to the crying
Oh well,
bits yet.
excuse me. All right.
Yeah.
What other we'll get to your gaming week a little later, but let's talk about how did you get into video games? I mean, you are a bit more of a nerd than you lead on sometimes. How did you get into video gaming and all that? What was
Well, when I was growing up, I mean, I grew up with video games. We had an Atari growing up. I wasn't that much into it, but when it was Easter and it was like 1985 or something, and my parents came home with a Nintendo Entertainment System for my brother and I, and it was really aimed at my brother more than me, but it really ended up being me that played it most of the time, and I absolutely loved it. I played all of the trademark Nintendo games, Super Mario Brothers, Zelda, Kid Icarus, all of those things. And I just really loved all of them. My favorite one was Metroid. And that started it all. And then we got a Sega Genesis. We were the first family on the block to have a Sega Genesis. So of course all the kids.
So you're the most popular kid on the block.
Well, when it came to video games, I was kind of a wuss and got made fun of a lot in school. But
You?
But when it came to yes, they called me a girl, and I was bullied in school quite a bit.
What's wrong with being a girl?
Nothing. But they used it as an insult to me.
Which we can all blame the patriarchy for.
Yeah.
Well,
They used it as an insult to me, and I was very much bullied in school. But video games were my way of just escaping, and a lot of kids on my block would come over and watch me play Sonic, and I love that. It was my element. And then when we got a Super Nintendo, we got a Sega CD, we got the Game Gear, we got Game Boys. We had pretty much every system you could think of except for Neo Geo, those really niche systems.
Only the really rich kids could afford
Yeah,
that.
my friend had a Neo Geo and a TurboGrafx CD or whatever, PC Engine.
The Duo.
Yeah, and he was awesome because whenever I got to go to his house, it was like Christmas because I got to see the games that I couldn't normally play. But that was what ruled my life when I was younger, was video games.
I got 2 more questions for you, and then I want to move on because we have one more guest here in studio. I don't want to make him sit there quietly much longer. But I got 2 questions for you. The first, since you brought up Nintendo, this kind of got me thinking that on Horde House, you've often been quite a defender of the Wii U on the show, and that you're a big fan of the Wii U console, and Nintendo's been a lot in the news lately, and we're going to get into some of the recent developments tonight with their latest investors meeting. Obviously, I'm sure you saw all the news out there about Wii U flopped and all this stuff that was out there. A, what do you think about all that news as a Nintendo fan? And B, what do you think people are missing about Wii U?
Well, I mean, I don't consider myself a huge proponent of Nintendo. I don't feel like I'm a big Nintendo fanboy, but I do really like the Wii U. I feel like it's a fine system. I think that people write it off because of its name and the fact that it's Nintendo, and we're not used to having Nintendo consoles really put out a lot of good third-party titles and stuff like that. And that's all understandable, but I don't know. I think that Nintendo has a pretty tough job. They need to sell people on this system, and I don't really have anything to say other than that. Really, I mean,
I was just like, what do you think people are missing about the Wii U? But
well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, you're missing some good exclusive games that Nintendo has brought out. And, obviously, I mean, Rayman Legends, it was brought out for every platform, really. But it's the definitive experience on the Wii U. And if you haven't played it on the Wii U, then you're really missing out on a really great co-op experience. And I say this I have that game on 3 different platforms, so I really feel like I know what I'm talking about when it comes to that experience. But yeah, and there's other games that share the experience, and I think that Nintendo. I know that a lot of people don't like Nintendo for their gimmicks and stuff like that, and I go back and forth on it, but I feel that if you have a gimmick, you can do it right. And I think that with a lot of their games, they have done it right. And I think that's really important, is that, it is possible to have a gimmick. Mm-hmm. I mean, a lot of people wrote off the DS when it first came out, right? I mean, people thought that was going to be a gimmick. Look at that now.
Right.
So
no comment.
She's playing hers right now, just for the record.
I probably have bred with people.
Going to our chat room for some comments on those questions too. Loco Poco says, just give me Bayonetta 2 soon and no one gets hurt. Right? Tech 2030 says, Wii U is so great. I play it in bed on the gamepad before I go to sleep. Dartetsuya says, oh yeah, I love mine. Mario 3D World, freaking great. So we got a lot of Wii U supporters in the chat room. We'll talk a little more about the Nintendo stuff later. I'm very curious to hear what you have to say about that. All right, totally different direction, but I have a second question for you. Okay. Since you do the show Horde House with me, the online show, or online games show, right? Mm-hmm. What's been your favorite experience with online games? Because I figure you've played a lot of them, and why? What's been your favorite online gaming experience, and why?
My favorite online gaming experience was probably World of Warcraft. Back when the Wrath of the Lich King expansion was the big deal, and the reason why is because it's when I got into a real hardcore gaming type mode, I guess, and I got accepted into a really high-end guild on a server, and I got to beat a lot of end-game content with that guild, and it was just really fun. It was like a rush. And the thing is, it was very brief lasting. I only was doing the hardcore gaming rating thing for just maybe about 6 months, compared to the 6 years that I played WoW, and yet it was one of the best experiences I ever had. Ulduar, that dungeon in particular, that was my favorite dungeon experience, and I think that I'll always hold that as probably my favorite online gaming experience.
And you made friends with that you still talk to pretty regularly.
Yeah,
right?
I do. Yeah. And they're all good people, and I like that. As much as I don't like WoW now, I still hold that as a very good, solid experience.
MMOs are really kind of unique in that. Like, I think, Shane's sitting right here, and Shane and I might have met on LiveJournal over Animal Crossing.
Yep,
I remember that. Right. But I kind of feel like we really got to know each other and kind of got closer because of Final Fantasy 11.
Yeah, I think so. That sounds right.
It's kind of interesting how MMOs work like that. What's your before I move on to Matt, since it looks like you're wrapped up with your work stuff, what's been your favorite online gaming experience?
I'm playing Phoenix Wright, so no, I'm not wrapped up with my work stuff.
Objection! What's been your favorite online gaming experience?
Phantasy Star Online.
Oh, that's a good answer. Why?
Yes, it is. Because I almost failed a semester of high school because of it, because it was so good. That's how amazing to me it was.
Are you playing too?
I did for a little bit, and then I decided not to.
It was fun, I think.
It was okay.
It's weird that they won't release it here.
Sega, they're dumb.
Yeah. Well, let's move on. I want to introduce our other guest who's been sitting there very patiently waiting. Say hello, everybody, to Matt is here joining us in studio as well.
Hello.
Hi. Not to be confused with Loki. Just so you know, you're going to want to get that mic nice and close to you when you talk, because Xtofer is really loud, so you gotta be about the same. How are you, Matt?
I am pretty good. Excited to be here.
Yeah, I know. We're happy to have you. You play a lot of online games too. Let's start with that, because I really feel like since I've known you, I've probably known you for about like a year and a half, since you and Xtofer have been friends. I've known you for about a year and a half, and I feel like every online game I've played in that time, I've played with you at some point. Like, we played Path of Exile for like 2 days. You played League of Legends. We played Final Fantasy 14 extensively, obviously. What's been an online game you've really enjoyed and liked a lot?
The game I like the most is League of Legends. I'm really hardcore with that. I play it all the time, and I go into phases actually. Depending on the MMO that's coming up, usually I'm playing that. Like right now we're in Final Fantasy 14. I took a break from League of Legends when I started Final Fantasy 14, and then I went home for Christmas, and all my cousins are like, "Matt, play League of Legends," and so I play League of Legends. I like a lot of board games too. Actually, I played Dominion a lot.
Oh right, you introduced Alan and I to some really cool
Dominion's
board
fun.
games. Yeah, Dominion's a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun.
I bet we have a lot of board game geeks out there listening. What are some of your favorite board games you play right now?
Dominion's definitely one of my favorites. I like Race for the Galaxy. The same designer for Dominion also made a game called Kingdom Builder, which is really fun. And I've tried a game similar to the Dominion style is called Marvel Legendary, but it's with like a Marvel theme, and that's a lot of fun. And I like playing more strategic games. I played Le Havre over Christmas, and that was a lot of fun. They're probably, I don't know if you know any of those games, but...
No, but I'll smile and nod. I like board games too, though, and every time like my friends that are really into them introduce me to them, like I never have a bad time. I mean, the ones you've introduced me to were great. Tim, who was on the show a while ago, he was into some board games too. We played that the House on the Haunted Hill or something like that, and that was a lot of fun. I love that one. So
Dan's still trying to work on completing our what was that one? Dungeon Quest.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I have some friends here locally that are into some games. One of my friends here had a night at the comic book shop where we all went and played Sentinels of the Multiverse, and that was a lot of fun.
I have not tried that one.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. That was a fun card game. So let me kind of get this out there because this is pretty cool. You actually work in the games industry, and
I do.
It's important to say you're here as yourself tonight, not representing your company. So I can't go too far down this rabbit hole asking about the game. But you worked on a game that I'm sure a lot of our music game fans know, right? Rocksmith 2014.
Yep, and Rocksmith, the first one, and Rocksmith 2014. I'm our game designer for it.
Awesome. And everybody should go buy it and check it out, right?
Yes, they should. It's a lot of fun. Even if
available on Amazon.com.
And retailers near you, right?
Yeah, Xtofer is the greatest. It's my greatest cheerleader.
So even though I can't go too far down that path asking you questions of that tonight, I can say that if you look at some of the Rocksmith trailers that are out there and some of the behind the scenes video, you can see Matt in them. So if
you can see me a little bit. I'm not in a lot of them, but I'm the Asian guy with yellow glasses usually. So.
By the way, Shane got to play a little bit of Rocksmith 2014.
I did. It's fantastic. So
I haven't played it. I'm such a bad friend, but it's like I don't have the guitar and all that, and I've never really had the drive to learn to play. But everybody tells me Rocksmith is so good. I need to really check. And this is before I met you.
We actually have people in my training class who are totally into it.
Yeah.
So.
See, I want to be able to ask him questions like, how does it feel to have killed Rock Band? But I can't go down that path.
See, I would love to play it, but I legitimately can't because of my hand.
All right, let me go to the questions I can. So everybody check out Rocksmith 2014. But let me ask you the question. Let me ask you the questions I can't ask you, and that is like, what made you want to get into game design? Why did you choose that path in life?
Oh, I've always loved games growing up. I grew up with a Nintendo and a Super Nintendo, and my childhood friends would always be like, "Oh, let's start a video game company." And in my spare time, I'd like write new spells for Final Fantasy. It's just because I was really into it. I was like, I wanted to make a game. And
so, okay, I love that you fess up to this stuff because so many people did nerdy shit like that but won't like fess up to it. And I remember being in grade school, we would draw those dungeon games on pencil and paper. Like, did anybody else do this in their school? And it'd be like have the pits and the dragons. And you'd have that like item shop that you draw and everything. Like people, like that's how people get. You play them on lunch.
When I was in high school, my friend Ashley and I, my senior year of high school, sat in the back room during our study hall and made up our own RPG. With maps, everything, you name it. We did our own roleplay game.
That's awesome. So did you do all that too? You designed your own levels?
Yes. I think every child.
He designed games on his calculator, like those graphing calculators.
Oh, were you that guy like trying to get Tetris on your TI-81?
Yeah, my TI-82. I remember. I was sick of all these bad poker games on there, so I was like, I'm going to create something better. But I didn't make anything original. I remember learning how to program I created the game Mastermind. I don't know if you know that one. But
that's like the old
the
with all the
guessing one.
pegs.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
well, is it true that, like, because I know I've talked, like, Bobby Blackwolf, who's on before us here at the Voice Geeks Network, he's done a lot of game design stuff too, and I know it's always interesting. He talks about that when you first design a game, you actually should make a game you know. That's why you see a lot of people make breakout clones. I remember when he was learning XNA, he did Crazy Eights, like a card game. So a lot of people always start with something they know. So is that kind of why, Mastermind is a game a lot of people know?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a difference between trying to learn how to program something versus trying to create something on your own. Because I think as a game designer, it's really easy to come up with it's really easy to not use programming. You really don't want to say, like, programming is my crutch when you're trying to create a game. You try to create a card game or a board game and just put all your ideas out on paper and then put them on cards, make a fake board, just draw on pencil and stick figures, or even less of that. What I like to do sometimes, like, take magic cards and I put them in sleeves, and then I print out paper and put them in the sleeves, and then you can make your own little card game that way, and have friends try it out and play, and you guys might just have a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you knew pretty early on game design was what you wanted to do. Like, you never, like, oh, maybe I want to do, I don't know, I want to be a teacher or a actor instead or something. You kind of always knew that? Or
no, my life actually was, well, as a kid, I thought that was just kind of a thing you dream of, but you never really actually aspire to go towards.
Like a porn actor. Would you say it's similar? I'm kidding.
So, I mean, and I had other dreams like that. I wanted to design roller coasters too when I was like, so maybe I'll be an engineer or something of that sort. And so I just kind of went into computer science because I was interested in programming, and I went through that, and I didn't really think actually that I would really go into games. At first, I was like, well, maybe I could try to get into a game company, and I actually, when I was in college, I had an internship at a company called Wild Tangent, and
oh, I remember that. That was the stuff that installed its crap. That wasn't you that did that, did you?
No, I probably was, because that was back in 2000, okay. 2001. So that was those time of years. But I actually hated the job environment there. And so I was like, I have no idea what I'm going to do. So I decided, like, well, I really like the math side of computer science. So I spent like the next 8 years in academia, and that ended up not panning out. And I was like, well, what am I going to do? And I was like, well, what did I want to do when I was little? I was like, I wanted to design games. So I at that point of time, I was really into a game called Hellgate London at that point of time. That game. Yeah, it's a fun game. It's made from the old Diablo 2 team, and I played it a lot, and I contributed on their forums a lot, and I just kept on contributing, that the developers started talking to me a lot. And then there came the point of time during my academic career, it's like I ran out of funding, because most of my academia life I was under a grant or something, but then my grant ran out and my research wasn't being published. So I was like, what am I going to do? And I talked to the developers, and they said, oh, we're going to have a game design open up pretty soon. And I was like, awesome, I want to try it. And they're like, okay. And so I applied for it.
Wow.
And they liked me when I interviewed with them, and that's where I started.
Wow, that's awesome. That's a great story, though. That's really cool. It's funny because, like, I interned when I was in college. I was originally wanting to be, it started as a weatherman, and then I was going to be a broadcast journalist, right? I was going to be that guy on the news, and I actually interned at a news station up where I went to school, and I really hated it. Well, actually, I take that back. It was a lot of fun. I had fun, but everybody else seemed really miserable. And it was kind of really a wake-up call that, like, wow, this isn't as glamorous as it looks. And a lot of people here really are not having fun. I don't know if I want to do this. But it kind of turned into, like, if I didn't go through that, I might not have this radio show I have now, with my friends on kind of our own terms. So, it's interesting how what you learn can kind of turn into something else. Anyway.
Yeah, it's what's great about, I feel, the game design field is that if you work towards it, you can get a game design job. I've met a lot of other game designers. They don't have a formal education or anything of that sort, but what they do is they have passion. And usually the most important aspect, and when I interview other prospectus for game designers, is they have to be excited about games. They have to be playing games. They have to, and then hopefully they have one more step above that where they start analyzing. It's like, well, this is what makes a good game. This is what makes a bad game. But how do you know that in general? It's just what you do and don't like, and you start from that point, and then usually, I mean, you'll have a lot of people that have that same skill set, but you would want someone who's then taking the next step of trying to create something on their own. I've had friends that, she worked on her own web comic for a couple years, and that's really what got her in the game industry, and helped her get a more narrative game design type position, and.
Wow, why are we still trapped in my spare room for after 12 years doing this little dog and pony show? No, I'm kidding. We love it. All right.
No, I mean, and that's the thing is that, and that's why I was saying earlier, anyone could create a game. You could create games out of paper just from this, make your own card game, make your own board game. And just that itself, and just showing your passion for creating and trying to, entertain other people, that is really the most important thing when people are looking for game designers.
That's great advice. I love that. And that's straight from somebody who knows what they're talking about. Going to our chat room over at live.vognetwork.com. Dungeon Buster says, Hellgate London had a lot of promise to it. Wish it had a better chance to actually accomplish what it wanted to set out to do. So definitely the game had a lot of fans there.
Yeah.
So. That coming from live.vognetwork.com. Well, anything, I know we plugged the Rocksmith series. Is there anything else you want to plug out there, personal projects or anything while you're here tonight?
Just Rocksmith 2014. Play it.
Yep.
You're welcome to give me your feedback. I'll take it.
Buy Rayman Legends. This is still Matt talking, by the way.
Yeah, a lot of my spare time playing games is watching Christopher play Rayman Legends on 3 different platforms.
Also, our chats are a little distracted right now because Loki joined the chat room. Loki is in our chat room over at live.vognetwork.com, and Loki says, I'm hoping to be back on next week. So it'll be great. We miss Loki, but totally understand why he's got to take the time to be with the additions to the family. And Loki's probably just kind of mad he's missing all you guys here in studio tonight. So we have a pretty packed house tonight.
I really wish we could see Loki and Miss Loki and their baby. Wish we had more time.
You should go there right now. I'm sure they're not trying to sleep or anything. Just go right now. All right. No, stay here on the show. Darn it. Shane, I want to go back to you for just a minute because you blew me off earlier, but now you're not doing anything important. You're just playing Phoenix Wright.
I'm trying to save my client's life.
All right. But I wanted, because we were just talking with Matt, and Matt, has a lot of experience in the game industry, and I know you've told a little bit about this on the show before, but since, we do gain and lose listeners every so often, there's probably people out there that don't know that you at one time worked in the industry as well, right?
Yes.
And where did you work?
Konami.
And what did you do?
I made DDR.
You yourself made
Just
the whole game?
me.
Just you?
With a piece of paper and a dream.
Oh, so your story's kind of like
that.
that.
This is a really grassroots story.
How did you get into it? Was it really a piece of paper and a dream, or what?
It was connections.
Connections.
That's true. That's how it went.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yes.
But you were really passionate about music games, though, right?
Yeah, and I still am.
Yeah.
It's just they have to be good. They can't be crap.
What's good and what's crap? See, he can't say, but you can. You don't work in the industry anymore.
DJ Max is awesome.
Uh-huh.
DDR is kind of crap. Pump It Up is awesome. And what else is crap? Guitar Hero is crap. Glad it died. DJ Hero was awesome though.
So why don't you work there anymore?
Because they moved and they weren't. Can I even talk about that?
Probably not. All right. I guess I can't. All right. Just end that sentence. They moved.
They moved.
And oh God, I don't know what else to ask you.
How's life?
Yeah.
It's full of courtroom drama right now.
Why do you love Phoenix Wright so much?
Because it's full of courtroom drama.
That's true. You do. Yeah, now that I think about it, your favorite TV show is Law and Order SVU, right?
Well, Power Rangers. But
Do you want to talk about Mass Effect? Would that make you feel better?
no, I can talk about Power Rangers. I don't care.
I would like to hear more about Power Rangers,
So,
but only the Japanese ones.
okay, my favorite one for a while was the one where they were cops. So I guess it kind of makes sense.
That one was interesting.
But now they're going to be trains, and it's awesome.
You really? Well, I mean, I
Yes.
understand why the train one's like popular, but still,
Yes, and they switched their costumes, which is awesome.
I still think that nothing is as awesome as Mega Ranger was.
I didn't watch the Japanese version, but it kind of sucked in America. I'm watching Japanese one of Time Ranger. Time Ranger's awesome. The
Time Ranger is
intro
good.
sounds like a 90s sci-fi show, and it's amazing.
I still think Mega Ranger was the best.
All right. Well, congrats, Shane. You succeeded in bringing Power Rangers chat to the show. I hope you're
I'll
proud of
bring more
yourself.
than that.
All
Just wait. There's going to be some Pokemon, and well, that kind of works. So.
Well, we gotta keep it moving and get into a segment we call "How was your gaming week?" You know, yes, we usually do a kickoff topic, but we talked to everybody for a little while. That was our kickoff topic. So let's get into how was your gaming week and the types of video games that you have been playing this week. So we know Shane has been playing Phoenix Wright, so we can skip him. How about you, Dark Soccer? No, we'll go back to him. I'm kidding.
I'm not
What do you
playing
mean?
Animal Crossing right now, am I? That bitch Ed won't leave my town. Seriously, he's fucking creepy.
You need the right to be able to evict people, but I guess Nintendo would
Blue
never.
horse with purple eyeshadow. That's just such a clash. Anyway, yeah, I'm playing Animal Crossing. I finally deleted Julian's character now that he has my old Wild World. So, I played Mass Effect 3 because I finally figured out how to seamlessly change out hair textures in the actual game files. So I have completely modded my game. And the only problem is that I can't get custom textures replaced. So I'm using text mod for that.
Does your hair look as good as Lara Croft in the Tomb Raider Definitive Edition now?
That hair doesn't... I don't want to say anything bad about it, because, but it just still doesn't move like real hair does. No. But my one of my shepherds has a really neat looking ponytail that doesn't look like the crappy ponytail that comes in the game, with the little, what is that thing in her face? Like, it's actually really good. So I've been playing some more on my characters and customizing them because it's also The Sims for me. And I finally beat that stupid dungeon in Zelda.
Congrats.
After passing my week exam at work, and then I go and just say, "Oh, I'll try that dungeon again." Beat it. So it's very happy. And
I'm sure that there's a lot of people though out there that I'm sure have like hit like a wall in a video game, and then they come back to it like weeks later, and then it's like, oh, beat it in one hit. Like I know I've totally done that on a game before.
well, yeah, and I knew that that's what it was going to take, because that's what it took back on that same boss in Link to the Past. Because it's a stupid whatever the circle thing is that knocks you off the platform, or as I call it, "God damn you, bitch," when I'm playing it.
How classy.
Because I'm a classy bitch. So anyway, I think that's really about it. I mean, I've kind of put off my Japanese coach because I found my kanji book, so I'm trying to study on paper.
You've been learning enough lately.
My brain is full. I know how to do so many things on non-PC computers now.
Uh-huh.
So
Good times.
Yep.
All right. We're going to go over to Shane and ask Shane about his gaming week. But before I get to that, I have some comments for Shane from our chat room at live.vognetwork.com.
Oh, goody.
Tiger Claw says, you ever watch the Power Rangers that had that crossover with Ninja Turtles, The Next Mutation?
Try to forget it.
SSG100 Matt says, the other question is, will Shane convince Rob to buy a game live on air tonight? He always convinces him to buy something. Oh, Lord.
I'll figure out something. I was going to bring Skylanders. Well, apparently it's supposed to be Rocksmith.
Rocksmith. Dark Tetsuya says, Mighty Morphin Power Voggers. Possibly.
by the way, remind me, and I'm going to have to show you the Mega Ranger versus Car Ranger movie.
I don't like Car Ranger.
Ah.
But it's better in Japanese.
All right, Shane, how was your gaming week? What have you been playing?
I played... Well, I've been mostly in California for this week, so I played a lot of Vita and 3DS stuff. I played Phoenix Wright. I've been playing Pokemon and Zelda. Played DJ Max and a little bit of The Walking Dead. And if I were at home, I could have been playing my copy of Bravely Default, and it makes me mad that I'm not home for that. Kind of sucks. The end. Why are you tapping your fingers at me like to hurry up?
No, I'm not. I'm listening.
Well, now I'm done. So
all right. Let's see. Loki in our chat room says, "Seriously, fuck Skylanders." Well, that's
no,
that.
they're amazing, and I don't think they're attractive, so I'm not going to.
Why do you like Skylanders so much?
Because it's a fun, stupid game with like neat characters, and the newest one's really fun because you can jump.
Why do you like Pokemon so much?
Because they're adorable, and you can collect so many.
And why do you like Mass Effect so much?
Because they're adorable, and you can collect so many.
That sounds like me and all of my saves.
Did I miss anything? Did I miss any big games? Why do you love Final Fantasy 14 so much?
Because they have minions, and you can collect so many. And it's fun to play. And I'm very sad I haven't got to play it this week, really.
Oh, I could boot it up on the PlayStation 3.
Yeah, and then I could not play it because that's a crappy way to play it.
Shade. All right. Xtofer, how was your gaming week?
It was fine. What did I play? I played some Don't Starve. I played some a lot of Rayman Legends, of course, because I'm trying to get my last trophy in that game. I only have one left to go.
Wait. We also played Mario.
We did. We played...
and I kept getting the crown.
We played Mario 3D World 4-player. It was fun. That's the only way I can enjoy that game, I figured out this week. Or actually, I figured it out a while back, but... I was reminded of how much better it is with multiple people as opposed to single player. I don't know. I just don't enjoy it as much on single player. So sue me. But I actually got to see Tomb Raider today briefly at Rob's tonight on PS4. I've already completed on PC, but it looks excellent on PS4. And I think... that's it. I don't think I've played anything. Oh, I played Android Cactus too. Assault Android Cactus. Great indie game.
You've been live streaming that one a lot lately.
Oh,
too.
yes. Again, I'm on twitch.tv. Thank you, Rob, for the opportunity to plug my
you're so welcome.
Twitch /EXTOPHER. Also, you can add me on Twitter. My handle is, what is it? It's Xtofer C. It's XTOFERC as in cat. And but anyways, I got to see Tomb Raider, and that was cool. And Android Cactus. It's called Assault Android Cactus. It's a weird name, but it's a shoot 'em up. It's a twin stick shooter, kind of in the style of Smash TV. And it's really fun, and it's on Steam, available on Steam. It was only made by 3 people, and I can't stress that enough because when you see the game,
with a piece of paper and a dream.
Yeah, started with a piece of paper and a dream, much like how Shane started with DDR.
Yep.
And so yeah, you should check it out. There's a demo on Steam, and I mean, it's a gorgeous game, and it's really fun. It's very addictive, and it's kind of challenging. So there you go.
Excellent. Matt, what does a week in playing games look like for you? What have you been up to?
With Shane being here, I was, I guess, introducing him to other games, Dominion and
Dominion was
Rocksmith,
fun.
of course,
Also fun.
and playing Mario with, like what Exto said, and we also played Cards Against Humanity.
That was really good.
Oh God, that was an epic. How many hours? Like 4
it
hour
was
cards
like
against. We
15
played through every
hours.
single card, and
Every
our
single
friend,
white card.
Yeah, every our friend Tim, who you've had on the show before, right?
Yeah.
He has every single expansion, and he brought him over, and we played the crap out of that game.
He must play that a lot because that was like New Year's Eve too. Was like going through the entire
so
deck.
fun.
But I had a great time.
Definitely a great time. And then, of course, Final Fantasy 14
Yay.
and League of Legends.
Boo.
Why don't you like? Why the League of Legends hate?
Because it sucks.
Why? You gotta have a reason.
Because it's not fun.
He
All right,
hasn't played
counter-
with me yet.
Counterpoint.
That will make it less fun. I don't want to get yelled at.
I'm not going to yell at him.
It's a lie.
Does Matt yell at you when he's playing games with you?
No, but I hear stories.
Matt is notorious for pulling out the bitch side on League of Legends.
Is he? Because
Yes.
like I've heard him like in playing like Final Fantasy 14. Like sometimes I hear his tone, but I don't. Like
No, you know what? He's awesome because he can separate games from real life, and he just
Shane totally can't. If Shane doesn't like you in a video game, he
Oh
doesn't like you in
yeah,
real
I've
life.
written you off completely.
Well, it's a good thing you already like him in real life but no,
Occasionally.
no, he's very professional when it comes to that, or whatever. He doesn't do it personally. He's not there for personal insults, to his defense. But yeah, he does yell at you.
Well, no, like I've never heard him go like, "Rob, you're a fucking idiot." But I definitely hear like that tone, like you gotta not get hit with the plumes again. I can't do it like he does it, but the whole like clenched like, gosh, Rob, you sure have a problem dodging those landslides.
Sorry, I can't stop laughing.
No, it's fine. It's because it's true. No, it's great. All right. Let's see. I'm trying to look at our chat room over at live.vognetwork.com. Seg says, when I get on the show, how about I do a card board game segment? You know what? I know it's a video game show, but
like a cardboard game?
no, card/board.
Well, you didn't specify.
Card or board.
I didn't know if there was like a game with a refrigerator box that I was unaware of.
All right. I think a lot of folks like card and board games too. So why not? Games are games. Let me talk quickly about my gaming week. I haven't been playing a whole lot besides Final Fantasy 14, honestly, because, I've got problems. But I have been playing the new Tomb Raider Definitive Edition on PlayStation 4. Now, I did play Tomb Raider before on Xbox 360, so this is really the second time I'm playing it. And you all right over there, Xtofer? Your phone just blew up.
It's VOG Network on my phone.
It just
playing a commercial.
It did a fanfare for me playing Tomb Raider this week. So yeah, I've been playing it on the PlayStation 4, and I noticed that they definitely did a lot more to the game than just, ooh, it's prettier and more high-res textures. I mean, obviously it has all the DLC stuff is in there too, so, ooh, all the outfits. But I thought it was interesting, like, just the really subtle things, like that little light that's on the back of the PlayStation 4 controller, like, they actually use that, like... So if you're playing in the dark or whatever, like let's say you have Laura get a torch and she lights it up in a dark cave. The light on the back of the PlayStation 4 will actually glow like red and yellow and like flicker on those colors like a flame would. And just little subtle things like that are really cool. And then it uses the speaker inside the controller quite a bit too. So there's more than just like the prettier graphics, so I thought that was good because I'm paying $60 to play a game I've already played before, but it's cool because the neat thing about where the PlayStation 4 is at right now is that there's really not, and the Xbox One really, is that there's not really a whole lot of games on either one. I mean, yeah, you've got, what, Need for Speed, Knack, the sports games, but I think there's like kind of a lull right now as systems tend to get to in this time of year. So I actually think the repackaging of Tomb Raider, which was, one of the best from the end of the last generation of games, I think that was kind of a smart idea. I think it really was.
You know what else is getting repackaged?
What?
Rayman Legends.
Is it really? Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
It is. It's coming out in like 2 weeks, right?
Yep, and you should get it. Everybody should get it.
You're going to play it again, right?
You know what? I think I will.
Going to our chat room at live.vognetwork.com. Loco Poco says Tomb Raider Definitive Edition is so pretty. Yeah, it's really not just the hair. It's just you just noticed it in the textures and everything, and the smoothness is really. And I know there's a lot of that controversy between PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. I couldn't tell you because I haven't played the Xbox One version. I've only played the PlayStation 4 version, but it's really smooth and the frame rate's great. And yeah, it's really cool. And Tech 2030 says that game is worth playing more than 2 times. There you go. So that was, I didn't really play an awful lot besides those games, honestly. Just kind of, I spent a lot of time. I did some live streaming. I did play Pinball Arcade because I did some live streaming of that on PlayStation 4. I bought the entire Season 1 worth of tables. And I died a lot on the Star Trek Next Generation table because that table is an asshole. But it's Star Trek.
It is in real life, too.
It is. Like, the gutters on the left and right eat your ball, like, all the time. There's nothing you can do about it.
Did your balls get eaten?
I hate you.
Hearts.
All right, let's move on. That's it for our gaming week. So quickly, some housekeeping. I don't have a lot, so I'm just going to say follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/Orange Lounge Radio. We're also on Twitter, twitter.com/OLR. We should be here for most of the coming weeks. We may miss a show in early March, but I'll keep you guys posted on that as we get a little closer to that date. But have we missed a week since like last year? I don't think we have.
I did.
You did, but
because I had the plague.
The show is still going on, so yeah, we might have a week off in March, but we'll keep you posted on that. All right, in the meantime, I guess we'll get into some news, and I'm actually going to start us off tonight with some gaming news. Since Loki and Jason's both not here to start us off, I'll start us off, and we're going to talk Nintendo like I promised. There was a lot of chatter this week with what's going on with Nintendo. As I mentioned earlier in the show when I was talking to Xtofer, we all saw the news stories about Wii U is flopping and Wii U's not making expectations. What's going to happen? What are they going to do when they have the investor meeting? Are they going to put Mario on cell phones? Well, that investor meeting happened this week, and quite a bit kind of came out of that meeting. Let's touch on some of the bullet points. Mario Kart 8 officially dated. Mario Kart 8 will be out in May at this point. I don't want to be that guy, but I kind of thought this was going to be the case when they delayed Donkey Kong Country Freeze or whatever what the heck's the name of that game? Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze?
Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze.
Thank you. Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. I kind of had the feeling when they delayed that game that it meant that Mario Kart 8 was getting delayed. So the push to May doesn't really surprise me. Sure, it's sad. I want the game now, but I would rather they wait till May to make it good than release it before it's really ready. And who knows, maybe the release in May is strategical too. Maybe they need to space things out for the end of the year. I don't know. Other big news that came out of the investor meeting. Wii U Virtual Console will be getting Nintendo DS games. And there's a lot of people out there going, I called it. One of them being Loki, the other one being Alan, because when we did our silly little list at the end of the year last year, they both, in one way or another, said that was the type of thing that was going to happen. So we are going to get the DS games on the Wii U Virtual Console. No, we don't know which games. No, we don't know when. We do know that they showed Brain Age in a conceptual type of thing, and that would be an obvious choice. I mean, most of those Nintendo first-party games are going to be the obvious things that come out on Wii U pretty quickly. Another very interesting comment that came out of that is that we've got over a technical hurdle with Virtual Console and expect to get the games out quick. And I think that was in regards to the Nintendo DS games, but some people have been interpreting it as there's going to be more Virtual Console games. That's not a bad thing, I don't think. They've really been trickling out, but, again, I wish there was more to Virtual Console. I don't know. I get the whole concept that people just want to have the emulated games, but it just seems like there would be value in online play, leaderboards, trophies, being able to see your friends play on the webcam that's built into the gamepad, just something like that. I don't know. They're going to be building a quick start function into the Nintendo Wii U gamepad. They say it still takes too long to play Wii U games. That they're going to do a quick start function that you're going to be able to get the game right up, and that's something that's supposed to come later this year. I think that's a good thing. I think,
it's a good thing, but I don't understand. I don't quite understand why people feel like it takes too long to boot up and play a game. It literally takes two inputs. You click your user me, and then you click the game that you want to play. That's it. It doesn't take too long to boot it up. People, I think I read on Kotaku this, how the sensationalists they can be.
First off, you shouldn't have read that.
I know. But on Kotaku, they were talking about how you go through a myriad of menu screens to get to the game you need to get to. That is complete bullshit. That is not true. You don't go through a myriad of video game menus. You go through two screens. Get over it. And so I don't feel like it's absolutely needful that you have to have a quick boot. But I mean, it is fine. It's fine for what it is, I guess.
Brad from Pod Culture says, if you can't get your game up, you might need Viagra. Oh, I see what you did there. To be fair, I don't think the process is really any slower on Wii U than it is on any of the other consoles.
It's actually faster on Wii U than it is PS3 to get to your game. It's just I don't understand why people are...
But I can also understand the allure in being able to maybe just turn on the gamepad and you have your Virtual Console game right up on the gamepad without maybe even necessarily having to navigate menus. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I can see the draw for it. I'm certainly not against it.
Yeah.
But I don't know where the controversy is. I can't see where the controversy is.
Nintendo is talking about tying an ID across all hardware platforms, which I guess they've kind of already been doing as they've merged Nintendo Network into 3DS. But now we're talking about future systems and I think whatever they're going to plan in the mobile space, which they've pretty much come very clear and said it is not like we're not putting Mario on, like we're not designing a Mario game for the iPhone, but we're not opposed to new ideas. So they are exploring some new ideas, and some of those ideas have to do with fitness. And that could be a place, non-wearable health monitoring tech was something they were talking about, which struck me as particularly interesting because last week I talked about the whole, and, if you didn't listen to last week's show, you really should, because I feel like I made a good point about how, you talked about Fitbit, I talked about Fitbit. That should have been Nintendo. Nintendo could have had that. They could have hopped on that and had Fitbit for themselves. And I talked about that last week.
Well, plus they have a monitor for the new Wii U Fit, right?
Yeah, right, yeah.
But it's crap compared to Fitbit and all those things. If they invest a little bit money to make it a little bit more premium feeling, then yeah, I can see them.
So that's something they're going to. Nintendo's also talking about flexible price points on games for loyal consumers. That might be the trick, is to make the games a lot cheaper. So, I mean, cheaper is good news for us, especially those that have been supporting. Just a couple other tidbits here. Legend of Zelda was listed on the Wii U's 2014 lineup as to be determined. That was some documents that came out of the investors meeting. Okay, so what does that tell us? They're working on a new Legend of Zelda game.
We already knew that.
No shit. I mean, that is not news, but it was on the list, and people have been reporting it as news, so there you go. One of the other big pieces of news, Iwata taking a big pay cut, but not stepping down. Iwata's going to take a 50% pay cut, which is pretty big.
He's still making bank.
But not going to step down. And I don't necessarily. I'm certainly not one of those people that's thinking like off with his head.
Yeah, I'm not either.
I don't think he needs to really take the fall, but they all need to kind of. Like this needs to be like the wake up call.
I mean, it's a wake up call, but he's sitting on a success, sitting on the success of the 3DS, and he turned that system around. You know what I mean? So he's not all like bad, and for people to call for his resignation, I think is just kind of silly.
Yeah, I think it's no, I wouldn't agree with that either. Possibly one of the most interesting things to come out of all this, and I'll end on this. Nintendo is considering mergers and new game studio acquisitions, which led to a lot of wank in comment sections about Microsoft should buy Nintendo. Yuck, yuck, yuck. Don't think that's going to happen, kids, because Nintendo still has a shitload of cash on hand, so it's not like, it's not like going to the bargain bin at Walmart and buying a new company. It's not really that easy. But it could be interesting to see if Nintendo makes a grab for somebody. And I can't, my head can't help but go here. I have this weird feeling. What if Nintendo buys Sega? Like that's the wank I'm coming up with in my head. I mean, because it would make so much sense.
It would make absolutely a lot of sense.
It would make so much sense for Nintendo to buy Sega.
What if Nintendo bought Capcom or Konami?
That I think that would be really cool.
A lot of people think it's Platinum Games that they're eyeing. But
well, yeah, and again, it's a company they've kind of worked with, like
like Wonderful 101 or whatever.
But it's going to be very interesting to see because, I bet Nintendo would snatch up a company and get a whole lot of exclusives that way. Sega's kind of a company that's already been very supportive of the Wii U, but obviously my 12-year-old self can't help but go, God, it was weird enough when Sega started putting Sonic games on the Nintendo platform.
So we can go back in time and tell everybody that Nintendo won.
Right?
Seriously, I would love actually to see what Nintendo would do with Sega, with any Segas, like Sonic or whatever.
Yeah, it would just be so weird.
My mind would be blown.
Right? So, SSU100 Matt says, that's some 1990s wank. I know. I can't help it. Like, it's the only one in my mind that I go, wow, that would make a lot of sense for that to happen. So, Orange Right in chat says Konami won't happen because they'd have to cancel all their games. That's a good point. Konami's really developing a lot of stuff on other platforms. Nintendo buys them. It's not as easy as like, oh, put Castlevania on Wii U.
Are they really relevant anymore anyway?
Ooh.
I mean,
let's
all
just
Konami-
be honest. What do? They make a Metal Gear every once in a while.
Castlevania.
And yeah, at Castlevania, that's kind
thing
of...
is really taken off.
I don't think it's really taken off. I think they're trying to make it take off.
No, Silent Hill's really going to get successful this time, Shane.
That's a lie.
Maybe they'll buy up some of their IPs. Or, I'm not talking about just Konami, but like other companies like Mega Man. You know how everybody's like really, really butthurt about Capcom pushing them to the
Capcom
curb.
wouldn't let it go.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't see Capcom... Like, Nintendo would
Yeah,
have to buy
that's true.
Capcom for that to happen.
But see...
But then the fighting game world would just poop itself.
Yeah,
Like, let's
they
be real.
would.
The fighting game world would literally shit itself if Nintendo bought Capcom. Like, this just...
No kidding. That would be great. I'd love to see that happen, honestly.
Have you tried playing a fighting game on the Wii? No, because all you do is try to play the fighting game on a Wii.
Tatsunoko versus Capcom was
I love it, but it's just not
special.
great. You have to have the classic controller to play it, and you know me, I'm like probably one of the world's biggest Tatsunoko fans, and no, even Gatchaman was not enough to make me love it.
All right, so okay, enough wank and all this stuff. Okay, obviously we're going crazy here. Chatters, I ask you this. People in the room, I ask you this over at live.vognetwork.com if you want to chat with us. After what you heard come out of this Nintendo event, do you think they're on the right path at this point?
It's hard to say because Nintendo, I feel like with every step forward they take, it feels like they take a couple back. And I just don't feel like it got to the point of excitement for me in anything they came out with. But I don't know. They've never been a company that wants to be very aggressive. They don't ever give me that impression. So I don't know. What do you say, Matt?
Well, I think for Nintendo, I think they just want to make sure they take it slow and they actually they know they will make it big on their own IPs and everyone loves their properties and their games. So it's if they're spreading it out, they're spreading it out. But I think we could take a look at Take-Two and GTA 5 and all of a sudden, one game can put you on top. Unfortunately, I guess the game industry is kind of that way now. It's a lot more blockbusters and hit or miss type of things. But I don't think Nintendo has that much to worry about because they have a lot of strong IP and they have a lot of cash on hand and we know they have patience and they do turn out the quality games and if they make the next GTA 5.
This coming from a Microsoft fanboy.
Going to our chat room over at live.vognetwork.com, Loki giving his opinion with the show tonight, saying, I could see them acquiring Atlas or Tecmo Koei, a smaller third-party company maybe. And let's see, Bochikawa says, I use the classic controller for everything. Nothing wrong with it. Yeah, but that is, the problem with the classic controller, it's optional. And when you have an optional piece of hardware, games don't necessarily have to support it. That is kind of why the Xbox One included the Kinect, for better or worse, because they wanted designers to know the Kinect will be on every Xbox One, so you can design for it and not have to worry if somebody has it or not. When you design a game for the classic controller, not everybody's going to have it. A lot of people who owned a Wii didn't have a classic controller. So just something to think about with that. Tech 2030 says, if they're really thinking of buying companies to get more first-party titles than IPs, then yes. And I think that's in response to the Atlas and Tecmo Koei thing. So Dart Tetsuya says, if they announce even more than one bombshell title at E3, they might be able to turn things around, I think. And I kind of agree with that answer. That's where I'm going, is that E3 is always important, and I feel like we say this every freaking year. But the stakes are like super fucking high for Nintendo this year. Super, super high. And the weird thing is, I would see that they're not going to get on stage again. I think we're going to have another year of Nintendo Direct. Why should they get on stage? Why should they?
Honestly, I liked the Nintendo Direct.
Well, the only thing I hated about it was that Ustream was full of fail. I liked the theory behind it, but it didn't work. And that thing was crashing every 5 seconds. So they better fix that shit. But otherwise, yes, in theory, I think there's nothing wrong with what they did with Nintendo Direct. It's very interesting how they're changing the landscape that way. But I would fully anticipate we have another E3 where they do that. But going to be very, very, very make or break this year. All right, let's move on. We got a lot of other companies to talk about. So, Dark Saga.
Speaking of other companies, we have some Sony news. Well, more like a rumor, which you know how I feel about rumors, but this could be a good one. Basically, there was a source close to Sony was saying that there is going to be a backwards compatible PS1 and PS2 emulator for the PS4. And they say that the theory is that, from what I can tell in here, it's supposed to be able to let you play the games you already have, which is actually sort of opposite of what Sony was saying about having the PS1 and PS2 games available through PlayStation Now. So it would be interesting if they did that, but I don't see it.
Well, I mean, there's PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 emulators on PC, and isn't the PlayStation 4 just kind of like a PC in a box? I mean, we're getting closer and closer to that. So I like that idea as opposed to streaming. I mean, as cool as a lot of the stuff they were talking about with streaming sounds, like I really worry about the lag and the bandwidth and all that goes with it. So I really like this as an approach. I hope they can do it.
The thing I like about it is that it actually would add more value to the system itself so that people who already have their older games would be willing to upgrade to the next level of hardware.
I would be so flippin' happy if they implement this and they do the right thing, which would be...
remove region locking?
That and, if I could play the games I already bought on PlayStation 3 for PS1, if I could play those on PS4 as well because they're already in my catalog. That would be the right thing to do, and I really hope that's what they do.
I hope so, too.
Which, by the way, would include... those were region-free because they release Japanese games all the time. The Japanese Mega Man releases were out, and I bought one of those, and like Castlevania Chronicles, and I've bought a Suikoden 2. There's a series that Shane didn't get to fanboy over yet. I bought... Suikoden 1, not 2, sorry.
Yeah, 2 will never be on there.
Why won't they release 2? Jerks.
I don't know. Maybe.
Or maybe they would have this as something that you can subscribe to. You know, beyond their whole PlayStation Now thing, they have an emulator subscription service. Or maybe it has to be licensed per game.
Tech 2030 in chat says, I think because of PlayStation Now, I'm going to say backwards compatibility won't happen. It would almost be hindering their sales potential with PlayStation Now. Why can't they be together?
Is to give people an opportunity to get games that they don't have access to anymore.
Now, why can't PlayStation Now be both emulator and streaming?
It could easily be.
Yeah.
And again, it's the whole concept of added value to make the hardware more attractive.
Absolutely. So we'll see what develops with that. I'm hoping that it does turn out to be true. And again, I'd love to see the library of PlayStation 1 stuff I already bought open up on PlayStation 4. That would be fantastic. All right. Well, let's move on to some Microsoft news. So, Matt, if you're a Microsoft fanboy, pay attention. Although I'm sure
I was just being kind of facetious when
were
I
you?
said that. But honestly, he had an Xbox only when I moved in with him. So.
Did you force him to go buy console?
No, I didn't force him to buy anything.
Uh-huh.
I forced him to get the newest console for free, though.
All right. Moving on to some big news out of Microsoft. Microsoft, I'm sure many of you heard this week, Microsoft Studios purchased the rights to the Gears of War franchise from Epic Games. They will be taking over the existing games that are already out there, as well as development of future games. Development of future games will be handed over to Black Tusk Studios, which at one time was Microsoft Vancouver. But Black Tusk will now be working on future Gears of War games. So, we'll see. Rod Ferguson, who is the director of production at Epic Games and on the Gears of War franchise, is now going to be going over to Microsoft and will play a key studio leadership role. We don't know what that is all about. So, 2K did put out a statement that says, we can confirm that Rod Ferguson is no longer with 2K. Any projects the new studio is working on are unaffected by his departure. We wish him the best of luck in future endeavors, blah, 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 all that stuff. So, not a lot of surprise here, honestly. I mean, of course, Gears of War has been a great franchise for Microsoft. Of course they want to keep it going. So it's interesting that it's going to end up getting the Halo treatment of sorts. You know, now that Epic Games isn't doing them anymore, they'll go to a new developer. But you know what? Halo 4 was way better than Halo 3, in my opinion, or any of the Halos that came out after 2. It wasn't
I've
as good as
never
Halo
played
2.
a Halo, so
Really?
Yeah.
Halo 2 is really the best out of all those if you're going to play one.
Gotcha.
Well, speaking of all that, in other Microsoft news, take this with a huge grain of salt, but I would really be not talking about what everybody's talking about if I didn't talk about this story, which is the Xbox leaks. Apparently, there's been some Xbox One rumors or leaks that are posted out there on NeoGAF. And, we take a lot of those posts with a grain of salt, but the problem is this guy, NTKRNL, not Colonel or whatever his name is, this guy apparently he's been kind of I guess he's been a source before, and people have verified, yes, he is with Microsoft or what have you. Here's a summary of what he said was going to be coming from Xbox One this year. Halo 2 Anniversary on Xbox One, November 11th, even gave a date, Halo 2 Anniversary. Crackdown 3 coming in 2016. Halo 5 possibly delayed. Not going to come out as soon as we thought. Forza Horizon 2 for the Xbox One in September at 1080p. And a white Xbox One that's diskless, meaning there will be no disk drive. And perhaps that's how they're going to cut down the cost a little bit. They're not going to cut out the Kinect. They're going to cut out the disk drive, which is a very interesting way of, when we talked about all that digital distribution and some of the stuff that Microsoft was considering at one point, it's very interesting that they might end up going down that road where it would be all digital after all. So
just if you get that, make sure you have no bandwidth caps.
Right? So, let me do some quick comments from our chat room on the Gears of War thing that I just talked about, and then we'll talk about these rumors a little more over at live.vognetwork.com. Tech2030 says they really need to sit on Gears for a while, give people a break, and come back with an awesome sequel or maybe even a reboot. SSGO100 Matt says, to be fair, as a longtime Gears of War fan, the series has been hoarded out a little too much. Dungeon Buster says 343 Industries didn't do a half bad job with a new Halo, but Blast Tusk really needs to shake up the Gears formula. Back to these rumors. Here's the thing. Rumors are rumors, whatever. We'll find out what's true or not at E3, but here's my thing, is that pretty much everything this guy revealed, these are like the safest fucking bets you could make with Microsoft, right? This is like the whole Nintendo is working on a new Zelda game that'll come out in a year. Well, no shit. And if it doesn't come out in a year, it got delayed, it wasn't ready, and you still look right. Am I right?
Right.
Like, if Nintendo comes out at E3 and says, we're working on a new Zelda game, and I see people going, I called it, I'm going to be like, did you also call that the Pope was Catholic and that bears shit in woods? Because no shit. And so when I hear news like, Forza Horizon 2 coming to the Xbox One, no shit. Forza Horizon was great. That was a great game. It sold well. It's going to get a sequel. I will buy an Xbox One for Forza Horizon 2. No shit that's happening. Crackdown 3. Okay, maybe it's maybe a little more risky, whatever. Halo 2 Anniversary. Again, I think that's a safe bet, especially if it's true that Halo 5 is getting pushed back a little bit. You want a Halo to bridge the gap in there a little bit. Halo 2 Anniversary.
It's like what they did with Wind Waker HD on Nintendo. Which, by the way, when they announced Wind Waker, they already said they were working on another Zelda. So I don't understand how this is like.
I'm comparing. You know what? But here's the thing. The only one of these there are where I go, okay, well now that's a little bit ballsy, is the white Xbox One that happens to be diskless. Now again, it's not. I mean, we knew that Microsoft was thinking about going down this path at some point anyway. It's not like that's new information, right? But for them to actually do it would really be something to see. I don't know.
Matt thinks they should do it. It should be digital only.
He's giving you a look like, don't put words in my mouth.
Come on, don't be shy.
Well, I mean, just Xtofer and I, we like everything being digital, so it's easier. I don't go to the store.
Well, then
just order something.
Let me ask this question. People are very hostile about that. What would you tell people that are very hostile and don't want to see that? Like people that are really attached to their disc-based games. What would you say to them? What are they missing?
I don't think they're missing anything. I think, everyone's allowed to kind of prefer to play games how they like to, but I mean, at the same time, you should be open up to how other people like to play. And so, We like to play without having to put a disc in. That's annoying.
I'm a graphic designer who is in love with print media. So I miss discs and I miss manuals and I miss everything that gives you something to hold and possess, because some people are just attached to things and some people like to have something tactile. And I think that shouldn't be abandoned, especially since you're going to be putting a whole bunch of designers out of business and print shops.
Sadly, I hate to say it, but too late. I mean, that's already, like, I don't see games really coming with manuals anymore. In fact, for Tomb Raider, I just bought this week, doesn't have a manual. It says, for the online manual, go to this website.
That's sad.
So, I mean, granted, somebody still has to design the online manual. I mean, so there's that.
Well,
but it's
PDFs aren't hard, but, I mean, like, for example, Dan and I have this box. We have an Atari 5200 Frogger box. You know what it's full of? Manuals that we go back and look at, especially when we are playing said games that we have those manuals for. Mm-hmm. You know, it's
one of my favorite things as a gamer from from the old Nintendo days was to, when I got a new game, was to pop open that manual and look through it like it was like a new book. You know what I mean? And I don't think that actually is ever going to be replicated by an online manual or, a manual that you can access through the video game itself. I just feel like there's a certain joy as a little kid that I had looking through the Legend of Zelda manual, or whatever.
And reading the story of the game that
exactly.
doesn't quite tell you.
And my mom would always joke. She would always be like, I don't know how he masters these games, but he opens them up and he reads that manual from, cover to cover, then he beats the game, or whatever. It's like, and I felt like I was no childhood prodigy, but my mom sure made me feel like I was. And she would brag to her friends about that, and I was just like, I love the manuals.
That's how I knew the evil mushrooms were called Goombas.
Sometimes there would be hints in those manuals and everything.
I've heard in Japan that they still really treasure the instruction manual.
Oh, yeah. Now, that's one thing because I've seen, especially because there's a big thing for collector's editions that come with, like, a bunch of stuff. It's the manuals and art books coming with things are really... That's half the reason why my husband and I have imported stuff.
Yeah, so I wonder why there's this big cultural difference between Japan and I guess the Western world.
I remember when I was younger, I would get the manuals and I would color them because they were always in black and white and I had markers.
Well, I'm trying to think of an example of something. Okay, here now it's a Dreamcast game, but it was a Cardcaptor Sakura game. That came with, and the game was kind of crap, but it was cute because it was Cardcaptor Sakura. But it came with a pillowcase. It came with a clock, a fork, and a spoon. You remember this?
What's this? Sorry, I left the room for a minute.
Cardcaptor Sakura.
Oh,
game.
God, that was so hilarious.
And they did a Sakura Tyson game that came with all that same stuff, too. But it's like, we see, collector's editions that come with postcards and things, and companies just passing out postcards. I've got a whole bunch of postcards thanks to Ikuma JP, who sent me some Phoenix Wright ones and some other Capcom game ones. It's just a whole lot more of a collector's audience to have just things that go with your game that enrich the game itself without actually being in the game.
Well, I do feel there is a boom in the U.S. with different varying collector's editions. You see, like, every game now has a collector's edition.
I'm going to our chat room for some feedback, live.vognetwork.com. Sag says, my hope with a move to going full digital on consoles will put pressure into network neutrality and a better investment in broadband. And Sag continues that saying, because you tell me with a straight face that Microsoft would like to pay for better access to every ISP in the U.S. Andrew in the chat says, I just like manuals, but oh well. I honestly don't have time for them now. I do all the reading I used to now before the game comes out. We didn't have the internet when manuals were big. That's a good point. I mean, Xtofer would read the manual cover to cover when he bought the game, but now you have the internet. You already know everything about the game before you buy it.
Yeah, but you know what's funny is that I still like when I open, for instance, when I open the new console, and I used to do this when I was a little kid too. When I open the PS4, I love looking at all the little inserts. I like looking at all of the little advertisements. I like looking through all of that stuff.
Well,
I seriously, it's like bathroom reading.
Here's what I ran to get in the back room for a minute here is that I was going to say all hope is not lost because here's Retro Magazine, which we had
Retro Gamer's better.
How mean? Because Retro Video Game Magazine, we had the guy on the show not that long ago.
I know, I'm kidding.
All right, yeah, sure.
Actually, Dan and I picked up the issue.
Did you?
At Fry's.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, this magazine came out, and I was going to say, people are going to Kickstarter now. Like, there's a lot of people that are really upset about, I wish I had the magazine and so forth, and maybe they want things that they can read in the bathroom or what have you. But yeah, they got this whole little magazine, and this is what was really cool, is that if you go to the very back page, look at that, supporters. Look at the number one right there. Yeah, orangelaunchradio.com.
Yep.
Yeah. After you went and said something nasty.
You know what?
You said nasty mouth.
You know what? I didn't mean it.
That's
it's my
pretty
job
awesome.
on the show to be bitchy.
Yeah.
No. Like I said, we actually picked it up because we saw it at Fry's,
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
and I remembered it. But yeah, it was very good.
But I was going to say, all hope's not lost. Like, when there's still communities that are like, hey, we missed this, so let's make it.
Yeah, I miss the old days where I'd pick up the new EGM or Game Pro or whatever. And
You got what,
you'd
Nintendo?
flip through that thing like over and over and over again, and even when you thought you read the whole thing from cover to cover, you'd still look through it,
Why do you think I kept issues of EGM like for years? We actually ended up having to throw them away because they were just decaying.
I think I was reading up on Twitter or the internet somewhere that Nintendo Force is another magazine that's kind of run off Kickstarter and stuff, and they're gearing up for their second year. So, kind of, it's not dying. There's going to be an audience for it that appreciates it. So there you go.
It's becoming more of a specialty market, and I really wish that it was more the norm than. Well, it's like I was even having a conversation with Becky, my best friend, a while back, about how whenever she gets DVDs, she just throws the cases away and puts them in a binder. And I'm like, but you realize that someone put work into this design, and that it's as much a part of the experience as having the disc, right? And she's like, oh, I didn't think about it that way. But I mean,
Some
I
don't.
know.
Some don't.
It's sad.
All right. Well, let's move on. Dark Soccer, you have another story for us?
I do, and it's about how pissed off I am that print media is dying. No, I'm kidding. This is about the Ouya. Well, it's getting a makeover. It was kind of crap before, and it's still kind of crap, but we still like it. What?
It's just the way you phrase that's really funny. I'm sorry.
No. Well, okay, a lot of people will say it's kind of crap, and then there's people like our Brad from Pod Culture, who likes his Ouya and plays retro games on it. But the Ouya is going to have better Wi-Fi connectivity, or as they say in Quebec, Wi-Fi. It will have more storage. It's going to be going to a 16 gigabyte flash storage, and I wonder if anyone will need it. But better controller, better analog. It's supposed to be better everything, and it's all black and sleek. And I still am not buying one.
I was just saying, you just pre-ordered one today, didn't you? Just kidding.
No, because you can't pre-order. You can only order, and it will be delivered when it's ready.
You're so mean.
I'm not. I have a personal grudge against unnecessary prefixes.
All right. So I have to admit, I'm also still not really big on the whole Ouya thing.
I think it's a pile of shit.
I don't know.
Sorry, I'm sorry to crap on your parade, but
I don't.
Not my parade.
Oh, okay.
I don't think I'd go that far, but
It has untapped potential, meaning its potential is really hard to tap, I guess.
I just
it's a fucking Android phone on your
I just
TV.
feel like it's having a hard time finding its audience. What am I really getting out of that thing I can't get on my PC?
absolutely nothing.
Yeah, that's the only.
You're getting
that's the
one
problem.
exclusive. What about that Sulfjord? That's
Yeah.
it.
Well, now, and to be fair, other people might say, well, then why do you get a PlayStation 4, Rob? Because all those games are on your PC. But I'll tell you what, they run a lot better on the PlayStation 4 than they do on my PC. I mean, they're dedicated gaming consoles with all that power, whereas an Ouya is not really about the power.
Plus, there's
Well,
going to be exclusives on those.
If you look at it this, I'm sorry, buying a PS4 is basically cheaper than buying a graphics card.
Ooh, interesting thought here from Seg in our chat room at live.vognetwork.com. If the Ouya would drop its requirement for having a demo or free version for every title, they would have a lot more buy-in. Brad from Pod Culture says, it is a neat bit of kit to tinker with, but it sure as hell isn't mainstream. Well, let's talk about what is coming to the mainstream as we go over release dates and the types of things that are coming out around the world this week. I'm going to start with the U.S. release dates. We have a few things coming out. Earth Defense Force 2025. If Loki does come back next week, I think we're going to hear a lot about this because this game is out on February 4th on the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3. Fable Anniversary also out this week on the Xbox 360. I think that's just the 1, 2, 3 games all out together. The Lego Movie video game is out on pretty much all consoles. Windows, 360, PS3, PS4, Xbox One, Lego Movie video game. And let's see, Outlast making its way to the PlayStation 4 this week as well. And the Windows version of Double Dragon Neon makes its way to Steam this week as well. And then lastly, I think this is this is a Friday release. Did Nintendo move their things to Friday? Bravely Default comes out on February 7th. And I know a lot of people are excited about that. I still need to play the stinking demo, but I'm hearing a lot of good things about that. I really need to...
Did you get your 4 swords, by the way?
Stop. I already had 4 swords.
Yeah, they give it
This
away.
is special.
It's the same one they gave away at like E3 a while ago.
Yeah, when the 3DS was first out, they gave it away before, and I got it then.
I didn't have one then.
Oh. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, for all the new 3DS owners, it's great. But yeah, I had it from before. So... Well, a lot of... Was it part of the ambassador thing?
Why don't you buy it again, Rob?
It's free, Rob. Get it again.
Why is everybody picking on me?
Because you're here.
I already own the fucking game. Leave me alone. All right. Moving on. Let's see. Brad from Pod Culture says, no, it's a remastered version of the game a la Halo. Looks good, too. Shoot, I don't know which game he's talking about, but all right. Oh, he's talking about Fable? Oh. Well, that's pretty cool, then. Fable 2 was good.
As long as it's not Fable 3.
All right. Going over to Japan and checking out the releases there. On the PlayStation 4 this week. Gotcha. It's not out in Japan until the 22nd of February.
Womp womp.
Just seeing if you were paying attention. Going
What?
over... Yeah, right. Going over to the consoles that are out in Japan, on the PlayStation 3, Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge goes into the Best Hits collection. I'm sure Dark Sakura will be excited to play Puyo Puyo Tetris.
Pyo pyo.
Comes out, and I guess they just combined the two. Like, it's both at the same... It literally is both at the same time.
Shit.
You really excited?
Why the crap do I not have this?
PlayStation 3 is region free. You could do it.
Hey, I have brand new news.
What?
Did you know what it's called when a brony
Oh, no.
masturbates to ponies?
I just want to tell you, we have bronies that listen to this show.
I don't care.
So don't be offensive. All right, what?
It's called clopping.
Where's that from?
It's true. And so somewhere in the
It's
United
true.
States, somewhere, somebody is clopping right now.
I'm clopping listening to you talk.
So you're a brony. Yeah.
So
Rob.
nasty.
Moving on.
Bronies are disgusting.
No, they're not.
They're not.
Be nice.
Actually,
You probably like things that are stupid, too.
Actually, if I may, there was.
You like Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Hey, I like Buffy.
that
It's
is
amazing.
Amazing. I don't understand
Okay,
you
okay,
right now.
but I do need to actually set aside and make a statement because there's a little boy who is 11 years old who is a brony and got picked on and tried to hang himself, and he's in critical condition. So I just like to say, don't knock anybody's fandoms because they may be very seriously affected by it.
Hey, you
so.
listening to her? You listening to her right now? I hope you're
I'm listening to her. I'm not trying to get people not to commit suicide. Or I'm not trying to people. I'm sorry. That came
You
out
need to leave.
completely.
You need to leave.
That completely. I did not intend that.
Ladies and gentlemen,
to be
Xtofer.
interpreted the way that
See
it
you
did
later.
because I didn't mean to say it like that. I'm talking about all the other guys that are the creeps.
You know, if you're creepy about it, just keep your creepy in your closet.
And the thing that's cracking me up most of all is that Rama, who I know is a brony, is in our chat room saying, "Really, Shane? Really?" That was
What?
Xtofer talking.
No,
by the
but
way.
I
That's-
said something. I
Oh,
said
did
they're
you?
terrible because
Oh.
I'm not gonna lie, they're terrible.
You guys are too mean. All right.
But if you like something, shout it from the mountains and don't let anybody hate on you. And also follow your dreams and don't kill yourself. And I think the point is rainbows and gummy bears and
I'm allergic to gummy bears.
okay, well,
Sugar-free
non-allergic.
gummy bears.
Yeah,
They make you shit.
Make you shit. All right.
they make you shit rainbows.
No, they just make you shit for hours.
Okay.
Didn't you see the Amazon review of the
Where
sugar-free
was
gummy
I?
bears?
Talking about Japanese release dates, which somehow led to clopping. Xbox
And poop.
Fable Anniversary Limited Edition comes out on the Xbox 360 as well. Going over to the PlayStation Vita in Japan this week, Puyo Puyo Tetris. Terraria comes out on the Vita this week. I didn't even know that was a Vita release. And Super Heroine Chronicle. Like that means like a female hero, not like a drug warlord type game.
Especially since that guy just died.
Yeah, it would be in poor taste, wouldn't it?
That would be very poor taste.
On the Wii U, hey, guess what's out on the Wii U? Puyo Puyo Tetris.
Pyo pyo.
This game is getting around.
I love pyo pyo.
And Monster Hunter Frontier G Memorial Package, because, they need to have a re-release of Monster Hunter every week in Japan.
Well, that's just because they want to set up permanent residence outside of the Capcom headquarters.
Lastly but not leastly, on the Nintendo 3DS, this is important because this is a big title for some people, Dragon Quest Monsters 2 is out this week in Japan. I know some people like that little spin-off series. And there's a lot of, slime accessories to go with that, the iconic Dragon Quest character.
You know what? We had a slime that used to wear Dan's wedding ring as its crown.
That's awesome.
And then Midna found it. And was like,
Uh-oh.
can I play with this?
And lastly but not leastly, on the Nintendo 3DS this week, Dark Sakura.
Clopping.
No, Puyo Puyo Tetris!
Pyo pyo.
All right, let's go to the UK.
Kind of off topic. Kind of.
Oh, God.
For Valentine's Day, Dan and I are going to bust out our Dreamcasts so I can play Pyo Pyo Da and Blue Stinger with a really motion sick camera. Just saying that's our idea of romantic. Okay, so in February in the UK, we have a few things. On the 4th, we have The Sun at Night on PC. We have on the 5th, Outlast for PS4. And on the 7th, we have Fable Trilogy on the Xbox 360 and Jazzpunk for Mac and PC. Jazzpunk. That sounds interesting. What is Jazzpunk?
It's jazz and punk. Duh.
Oh, it's like an indie game sort of thing with it has a neat art style to it. That's kind of cool. Okay, I'll have to get that.
All right.
By Necrophone Games.
Necrophilia Games? What?
Necrophone.
Oh, okay.
And
That sounds like a company Xtofer might work for. I don't know.
it looks like they had a big thing at PAX Prime, so that's cool.
All right, moving on to one more story before we get to our classic game of the week, and this talks about a newer game, and it's a MMO that some people are very excited about. We talked a lot about this game a couple weeks ago on Horde House, and it made me excited for it. Everquest Next is going to be released on the PlayStation 4. It was confirmed. It's coming to PlayStation 4. This came from an AMA over on Reddit, which is, how we break news now. But John Smedley, who's the CEO of SOE, was really talking about the closures of those games there, but he also took some questions on other titles. And one of the things he talked about, Everquest Next, and it will be available on the PlayStation 4. He almost confirmed this last November, but kind of stopped short of actually confirming it. But now it went out on Twitter. It went out on the official Twitter, and that's how we break news now. AMAs and Twitters.
Gotcha.
So there you go.
Is it going to be cross-platform between PC and...
I don't think they've said that yet. I would sure hope so, considering it's an SOE, Sony Online Entertainment game.
No
but I don't know. Anything's possible. But that's really interesting. I mean, you're looking at the PlayStation 4 is getting a lot of MMOs now between Final Fantasy 14, Elder Scrolls Online, and now Everquest Next. And I mean, these are
They also have Warframe, which is, kind of MMO light.
Yeah, right. Some of those free-to-play games is very interesting. And we're not, in the PlayStation 3 days, we had some cool MMOs, but there was a lot of shit, too, like Free Realms. Sorry, that's one of the ones that's closing. So it's kind of neat to see that, and PlayStation 4's got DC Universe, which is pretty cool, too.
Right.
It's very different. So... it's kind of neat that, we're seeing, a lot of MMOs. Especially, EverQuest Next is free to play, isn't it?
Oh, I
think
no
it
idea.
is.
I haven't been really following it, honestly.
All the other EverQuest games are. I know there was Landmark and there was Next, so, hey, I'm all for more free games. How about it? All right. Well, let's move on to, we're going to take a trip back down memory lane to a time when games definitely weren't free. They'd cost you at least a quarter. Or who we kidding? 2 tokens, 50 cents per credit. We're going to walk down the aisle of memory lane where Dark Sakura jumps into the gaming vault and finds a game that she thinks, hey, you, brat, play this game. or I'm gonna you know what.
No, get off my lawn and play this game.
All right.
Get out. Get inside from the outside.
Or there's
Play this game, or I'm gonna take a shit in your mouth.
Ew, no.
Ew.
Let's take off this game
never
where I'm just
said
gonna
that?
pull your head off with your spine attached to it and set the rest of you on ice.
There's gonna be a babality, right, Dark
And then I'm
Side?
gonna
over
take
here.
a shit in your mouth.
What? You're obsessed with shitting.
I don't
Xtofer.
know.
Let her do
I'm
the.
not obsessed with shit. I take my fiber.
Let's get to the classic game of the week. Dark Sakura, what is the classic game of the week
Are
already?
you watching porn?
No, it's got an ad here.
Okay.
Pony porn.
What is the classic game of the
Are you
week?
clapping? It's Mortal Kombat. Sorry, X said Mortal Kombat. So Mortal Kombat was put out by Midway and later on Acclaim for the home consoles, and it was done by Ed Boon and John Tobias, and this has spawned quite a lot of wank over the years and crossovers and all kinds of things, and is now the franchise owned by Warner Brothers since 2009 after Midway went bankrupt. So basically, it is. It was supposed to be an original game that was starring Jean-Claude Van Damme, but it fell through. And like I said, it has all kinds of shit around it. Even a TV show. I tried to watch some of the TV show, and it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't bad, but it was terrible. So, it's bloody, violent, has fatalities where you just kill them at the end of the round, and this was the game of my high school experience. Actually, Mortal Kombat 2 was more of the game of my experience, but you can't talk about Mortal Kombat 2 without going to its roots. So, and my Wikipedia is going to a very frightening picture of Jean-Claude Van Damme, so I'm going to go back to this. So anyway, all of the games, well, up through the third game, anyway, they were digitized actors. And sometimes it would just be palette swaps depending on the different characters. Like, for example, Scorpion and Sub-Zero. Same dude, different colors. I remember back in EGM actually having interviews with some of the actors and showing them in costume and behind-the-scenes filming. So it was really neat. So yeah, the first three were 2D style with digitized actors. And you had a high punch, low punch, high kick, low kick, and block. Mortal Kombat 3 added a run button. So basically, it was just, kick everybody's ass, try to make it to the end of the game, and if you have your timing perfectly and know where to do it, where to stand to do your moves, you get a fatality where you can rip someone's neck out or, all kinds of things. Set them on fire if you're Scorpion, blow the kiss of death if you're Sonya. And it had, starting with, I think it was really with Mortal Kombat 2, it started having more of the, people would start going into like the game menus and start reading things, and that's where they got the Noob Saibot from and a bunch of different rumors, and then little Easter eggs hidden in the game, and it really just sort of, it seemed that basically if someone made up a theory about game A, then by the time game B came out, the theory would actually be in the new game. So it seemed like a lot of feedback was actually listened to. The fan community was really paid attention to. Yes, you can drop an arcade machine on somebody. I think that was Mortal Kombat 2. Or you could... See, Mortal Kombat 2 just really started putting... Mortal Kombat 3, started putting in the funny stuff, like the what was it?
The babalities and the animalities. Those were in 2, I think. 2
had the babalities.
Yeah, 2 had the babalities.
And the friendships.
Friendship, that was
Friendships were great. Friendships were great. Which, honestly... It's just that this was really kind of a shift in fighting games at the time, because you were going from the, I would say a good number of the popular fighting games at the time were out of Japan. We had our Street Fighter at the time. We had our KOF started after that, because this actually was first out in 1992. So yeah, this was before King of Fighters. But at the time you had like Fatal Fury and World Heroes and all of those games, and this was something that was new. It was supposed to be more of a realistic kind of I mean, at least by just having actual human-looking people. And the violence, you had all the blood, which, oh my god, everybody's freaking out over fake skeletons and red pixels.
It was something else, though, that it was like, I mean, it's one thing to have the violence with cartoons, but this was really one of the first circumstances where you had that kind of extreme violence, as I say, as Raiden gets impaled on a spike there in the video, but using, like, digitized real people. That was a real eye-opener for some people, you know what I mean? Yeah.
And then there was, they also had the stage-based fatalities, remember the pit?
Yeah, we just saw that in the video, yeah.
Yeah, and they really played on that in Mortal Kombat 2 with having the acid bath and the pit for that one. I think every Mortal Kombat game has had a pit stage now.
Yeah, now.
But you just, you have those, and the storyline in the game, yeah, the first one was like, oh, you have to go to the outer world and fight to save Earth, blah, 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 cliche. But as it's gone forward, the series itself has really developed its own rich type of mythology, really vast character base. I mean,
yeah, when you play the new one, it's like there's a lot of story in it, which is really weird for such a dumb fighting game. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Mortal Kombat, but it's kind of dumb.
And I also thought it was funny that some of the influence for this game actually came from Big Trouble in Little China.
I can see that.
Well, especially in, what was the character, Kung Lao? And Raiden.
Yeah.
Which I hate how people mispronounce that name. But anyway. So yeah, now the other thing about this, and this is actually where one of my pinball heroes, Steve Ritchie, comes into play, who I have met. He's a lovely guy. He autographed a couple of our pinball tables. But he's the one that suggested the K instead of the C for Mortal Kombat.
Johnny Cage.
And that it just sort of stuck. So there you go. It was with like I said, it was with Mortal Kombat 4 that it really went to the 3D and then moved on from there. But I think that really this was just the big thing to stick. And then when you had the home copies come out, like for example the Sega version, the Genesis Mega Drive, had different Easter eggs in it. Like for example, Mortal Kombat 2 had Pong in it, remember?
Yeah, I do.
For the record, that does not work on the Super Nintendo version. My brother and I stayed up all night playing 250 versus matches to try to get that to work, but I have done it in the arcade. There were the Fergalities for the Genesis version. The Mega CD, the Sega CD, had the Dad's code that changed all the fighters to the characters from a show called Dad's Army. Reptile and Jade were included as hidden characters, and they finally came out in the later ones. So there's the Toasty thing, remember? From Mortal Kombat
I do.
2. So, but again, we can't really go into any of the other ones without acknowledging it first.
Absolutely.
So, how about the list? Or I won't go through the whole list.
Quickly, can I ask about this, because I'm seeing comments on it in chat too. You said you are bothered when people say Raiden, but I thought that's what, because the announcer
that's
just said
how
it,
it's
Raiden.
pronounced in the game, but the actual legit way to pronounce that name is Raiden.
Well, because I'm thinking, like, obviously there was that other game that was called Raiden that, was out in the arcades, and I'm sure we think of that, but then I'm thinking...
No, that's people being Americans.
But wasn't his name at one point spelled Rayden?
In the home
Yeah, but if
versions.
they're trying to name
the
someone
home.
after a legit thunder god and just misspell it because that's how they think it's supposed to be, that doesn't necessarily make it right.
All right. I had to ask.
I'm sorry, it's my little uppity internal Japanese major.
At least you can admit it.
I can admit it. So we started in 1992, and the franchise is still going on 20 years later. So that's to say something. We had first Mortal Kombat 2, Mortal Kombat 3, Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, Mortal Kombat Trilogy, Mortal Kombat 4, Mortal Kombat Mythology Sub-Zero, Mortal Kombat Gold, Mortal Kombat Special Forces, Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance, Tournament Edition, Deception, Shaolin Monks, Unchained, Armageddon, Ultimate Mortal Kombat Collection, Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe, which was kind of amusing, but they changed Joker's fatality, but they put it in with another character in a later one, where he just comes out and shoots him. That's pretty funny. Mortal Kombat, which was the 2011 release, which is the reboot game. Mortal Kombat Arcade Collection, and Mortal Kombat Complete Edition. So, yeah. And then we had one good movie and a bunch of crap after that. And Utah Saints Remix.
That's right. Good stuff.
The first movie was so good. How could the second movie be so bad?
An interesting kind of like FYI from Dark Tetsuya in the chat room saying, again, back on the Raiden thing or Raiden, but I have to go here because Dark Tetsuya says, I think that was because of Fatal Fury's Raiden at the time. That's right. I think that's why they had ended up in later games. They had changed the spelling was because of the Fatal Fury character.
I don't know.
All right. We're done with that topic. I kind of went, oh yeah, when I read that comment. So.
And the TV show was actually kind of okay.
It was
They also had a cartoon.
Well, they had the web series on YouTube not that long ago.
Cartoon was awful.
With the cartoon? Or the web
cartoon was
series?
awful.
The web series was kind of neat. They had some big actors in it. I'm surprised about that. All right. All right.
I have a Mortal Kombat story.
All right. Yeah.
Did you guys see that the Subway or the 12-minute YouTube Subway ad that this band did?
No. What?
Where they sing $5 Footlong for like 12 minutes. They're all in Mortal Kombat cosplay. Actually, it starts with like Sub-Zero and Scorpion. And Scorpion on the mic, Sub-Zero on the drums.
Wait, is that on YouTube?
It's on YouTube.
Called?
I don't know. 12 minutes, $5 foot long.
All right,
and they're like $5 foot long. And then
your classic game of the week, Mortal Kombat. Now I gotta find this.
As it's going on, more and more cosplay, like Melina and like all kinds of other characters come in with their subways and they're like eating as he's singing $5 foot long.
Oh my god! I think this is it. It says 12-minute $5 foot long cover by Mortal Kombat band.
I was going to end this with a really profound statement.
Is $5 foot long the statement?
No.
I have to hear this.
There's smoke.
Are they going to sing the song or not?
Yeah.
Scorpion on drums.
Dar Sakura, let's get to your statement while we wait for them to actually sing something.
It's going to sound awful over this.
This sounds like a Wesley Willis song.
So Time Magazine in 2012 had a quote that Mortal Kombat had become the boogeyman for anti-games activists and politicians, but the reason the 1992 classic remains seminal is because it broke the implicit taboo about what was okay to put in a game. And there you have it.
All right, there it is, your classic game of the week, $5 footlong. They're not even paying us to advertise. Look at that stealth marketing.
I don't eat at Subway because of bread.
The classic game of the week was $5 footlong. Because that's what you just said.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
The classic game is Jamie kicking Rob's ass during the break.
All right. There might be a fatality. But stay tuned, guys, because we got plenty more Orange Lounge Radio to come, including some rapid-fire news, the Fugle question of the week, and your calls at 1-877-GAME-OLR or a username on Skype, Orange Lounge Radio. We got more show to come. More Matt, more Xtofer, more Shane. Maybe more Shane if he's not too busy.
And more assholes.
Playing Phoenix Wright. Plenty more of that when we come back with more of Orange Lounge Radio right after this.
Clop.
Welcome back, everybody, to Orange Lounge Radio live on this Sunday evening. Happy Groundhog Day, because, there's not like any other like bowl type of games going on today. Actually, we were talking during the break, and I think Matt, who is one of our guests tonight, was mentioning that one of the teams got annihilated in the Super Bowl or something.
Do we want to spoil that?
Okay.
If you're gonna download this tomorrow,
you either watch it live or you didn't. I don't know people that DVR the Super Bowl game, but
yeah, well, I actually don't know
Tough
anything
I think
about
Raginator
football,
said he
but
did.
Tough titty.
I'm from Seattle. I'm happy the Seahawks won.
So Seahawks won their first Super Bowl, right?
Their first Super Bowl. Yeah.
All right. Congratulations. Now, that led to a topic we were talking about just briefly during the break. Speaking of Seattle, and I didn't bring this up earlier, you guys went to PAX last year. You guys go, like, a lot, don't you?
Yeah, we love it.
Since you're from Seattle?
Yeah, Christopher and I have gone the last 2 years, and I've gone probably 6 or 7 times since then.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I went, it was super small. You can buy a ticket at the door, and the expo hall would be one small room, and there'd be you could play anything. But now it's like super long lines.
Yeah.
It's really long, but it's really great.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how does it feel though? Like now that it's like this big thing that everybody's into, do you kind of miss the old days, or?
I do miss the old days, but I like how it is now because now it's just there's so much excitement, and it feels like a giant party almost. You see the enthusiasm of everyone, and everyone's there. It's like it's like is into things like me.
You can probably smell the enthusiasm too.
Are you going to? What does enthusiasm smell like?
Probably BO.
All right, you guys are going back to PAX again this year, I imagine.
Most definitely.
As long as you can get a ticket. What are you most looking forward to out of this year's PAX? I guess it's too early to ask, maybe, but
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the thing I like the most actually is back to board games. They have at PAX. They have a huge board game. They always have a huge board game library. So
I was going to ask about that. Yeah,
we're always. My friends and I, we just like, let's find something that we've never played before and, check it out. Board games are expensive.
Just remember Will Wheaton signed my iPhone.
That did happen at PAX.
It wore off by the end of the day.
Shane, are you going to try to go to one of these expos this year?
It would be cool, especially now that it's not associated with Penny Arcade anymore, so
Yeah,
it's
right.
tolerable.
Do they have any big gaming shows in Kansas?
I guess.
Is there like a Wichita anime / video game?
I don't know if there's an anime thing, but no.
I thought I'd ask. All right. Let's get back into the news. We're running a little long tonight with all these great people in studio, but we want to just run through the news here so we can get to your calls at 1-877-GAME-OLR. But not yet, because we got plenty of news first. Rapid fire news, and I'm actually going to start us off. We were talking about online games earlier, and one online game that hasn't come up was The Secret World, but I know there's some people that are really into The Secret World. Well, some very interesting news regarding The Secret World this week. Funcom's offices, Funcom is the group that made The Secret World, they got raided. And this is coming out of Norwegian.
Was it like a 20-man raid, or what was
I don't know how many people are on the police force in Norway.
the police raiding team?
I almost said Norwegia, but I corrected myself and said Norway. I don't know how many people are on the police force in Norway who went to where these guys are located in Oslo. But yeah, they went to get
How many tanks did they have?
boxes of seized documents. And yeah, apparently the reason why, infringement of the provisions of the Securities Trading Act. Now, of course, Funcom came out later and said, move along, everything's fine, nothing happened, where the game's still being made, we're good, y'all. But certainly it made a lot of people raise their eyebrows. Like, they got raided. All right, moving on to news on Pac-Man Museum. If you were looking forward to getting Pac-Man Museum, yes, yet another repackaging of various Pac-Man games.
Does anybody even want this game? Because I think the answer is no.
Dark Sakura, you like Namco stuff. Do you want
I do.
Pac-Man Museum?
How many freaking versions of Pac-Man do I have to own?
Exactly.
Don't you want Pac and Pal again? All right, well, here's the thing.
I want Baby Pac-Man, okay? That's it.
If you were looking forward to this on the 3DS or Wii U, tough titty, because the games are no longer coming out. It was canceled. The game was announced last summer, and it was supposed to come out on Steam, Xbox Live, PlayStation Network, and then Wii U and 3DS eShops. But then it was updated to remove the references to Wii U and 3DS. And the reason why they got canceled, quote, a result of delayed development.
Makes sense.
All right, so there you go. Also, one quick story here on The Wolf Among Us. This was a game from Telltale that they did last year that a lot of people were talking about as like one of their favorite games of the year. I have yet to play it, sadly, but I'm really excited to check it out. Episode 2, Smoke and Mirrors, has been announced that it is coming out for PC, Mac, and PlayStation 3 on February 4th. Xbox 360 the very next day. Telltale announced that news, and I know a lot of people will be very happy to hear about that. The Wolf Among Us.
Okay, there's giggling going on because
are you
of
guys
something that
doing?
you brought up earlier about JCPenney being drunk.
Wasn't that really funny? The tweets they're making.
Yeah, but Kia.
I love Kia.
Though Kia came and said, "Do you need a designated driver?" They came out. JCPenney came out later and said they were typing with mittens that are available at JCPenney.
Yeah, were those mittens soaked in alcohol that they were spilling all over themselves?
You know what? I call it a brilliant viral marketing move. Like, okay, everybody's talking about, like, I didn't even watch the damn Super Bowl, but I heard about that Radio Shack commercial, which was awesome because the Radio Shack commercial was, hey, we're that store from the 1980s, and then like all these 1980s icons like run into the store,
good.
like Alf and Mary Lou Retton and all this stuff, and then they say, we're not just that store from the 80s anymore. So it was very, very like tongue in cheek. It was pretty
What's
awesome.
the Esurance one I keep seeing hashtags for on Twitter all over the place?
I don't know.
Somebody tell me, because it looks like it might be a contest.
You can tell Shane in our chat room, live.vognetwork.com, although he'll have to look over my shoulder to see it, I
I
guess.
can't see it.
Go home, JCPenney. You're drunk.
All right. Dark Soccer, what do you have for rapid fire news?
Well, in other news, it's stupid machinery that I actually really love, the Apple technology. There is sad news in the gaming world, and that has to deal with Cave. We have lots of listeners who are totally Cave shooter fans. Well, and if this gives you an idea of, just what Cave's done, it was Death Smiles, Do Donpachi, Espagaluda 2. But they basically are closing their Western offices. They've closed their English blog. And I think the last thing that they've done was the Death Smiles 2X, which was untranslated. They just published it over here. So that's sadness, but we will still be importing them.
Were they found in their apartment with a needle in their arm too, like Philip Seymour Hoffman?
Stop it! Why would you say that? What even provoked you to say such an awful thing? Is your name Xtofer?
He's laughing at it.
I am laughing.
You guys are awful.
Here's my thing. Okay. I'm going to make one little political comment, and then I'm going to move on to the rest of this.
Oh, boy. When she says one little political comment, like, brace yourself.
Why is it that everybody is all like, oh, he's going to be so missed, and it's such a shame he was battling drugs, when if it was just a regular person on the street that died of a heroin overdose, you'd call him a fucking junkie? What's up with that?
He was a fucking junkie. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he was. What's up with that?
They found him with a needle hanging out of him, out
Look
of his
what
body.
you did. Look what you did.
My
That had nothing to do with video games. Are you just mad that nobody answered your question about dumbass insurance or whatever it was you were asking about?
That's what they get punished
God.
for. Apparently it's too soon, because that's all I'm seeing in the chat room.
So...
Video games, people. Video games.
He is about to be a Cards Against Humanity card pretty soon.
He is.
May I go back to my serious thing?
Yes.
Why is it that celebrities are held to a higher standard for doing the same fuckery that we belittle other people for?
God damn it. I thought serious thing meant video game news.
Just think about your double standards, people. Okay, so moving forward. Don't Nod. There was a rumor, and I actually read the rumor on Eurogamer myself, that they filed for bankruptcy, but they actually did not file for bankruptcy. They did something in France called judicial reorganization that allows them to basically reorganize the company without having to file for bankruptcy. And by the way, this is the company that did Remember Me for Capcom. So... And then last but not least, but very unsurprising news, Zynga bought another company. They bought Natural Motion, and then they fired 15% of their global workforce. So fuck you, Zynga.
No, Jamie, tell us how you really feel. All right. Moving on.
Wait, I'm going to make a bad joke.
Oh, no. I don't know if you're allowed to talk anymore.
I wonder if King is going to rip them off and fire 15% of their global workforce and repackage it as Firing Global Workforce Saga. This is why I don't visit often.
This is why it'll be another 5 years before Shane's invited back on the show.
But
Hey, it's the Fugle question of the week. Oh, what, Jamie?
I'm just saying, people need to get their priorities straight and not live in, the brave new world.
I'm just saying Fugle question of the week, y'all. You take Facebook and Google Plus and you slam them together, you get Fugle. It's the Fugle question of the week. This week's question, very easy. Whatever could have inspired a question like this? What is your favorite sports game ever made and why? And I clearly said, by the way, at Facebook and Google, I said, don't be a party pooper with the I hate all sports answer, because there's more sports than those that involve balls. And yes, I said balls.
How many
Curling.
people said that they hate all sports?
You
shouldn't read them.
I'm not going to read them.
But we can make fun of them. Read their names. And then
Yeah,
we'll
I
heckle
will.
them.
I will. Osfer says NFL Blitz. That series was just plain silly, and I loved playing as a bald eagle that caught on fire. It would be all kinds of neat if that's actually how Super Bowl games win. Unfolded Raptor says Harry Potter Quidditch World Cup. See, now that's a creative answer. Great answer. It's the closest thing you get to playing real Quidditch without actually going outside on a broom beating balls into vertical hoops with a stick. It plays a lot like soccer and is a lot of fun. The game was fairly overlooked, but as a sports game, I find it to be an underrated gem. Andy R. replied and said Blizzball. I think he meant to say Blitzball, and I'm assuming that's from Final Fantasy X. Rob H. says California Games on the Sega Master System 2, but I've always loved the WWE SmackDown games since PlayStation 1, but I've gone off of them since the 360 and PlayStation 3 era. I also have a soft spot for Sensible Soccer on the Amiga. It's one of those games that's fun, simple multiplayer, and I spent a lot of time on that with my brother and friends in the early 90s. Sly Red Panda says Beach Spikers for the GameCube. Great mechanics and design, and you could do 4-player versus 2 versus 2 co-op matches. It's one of the few games my non-gamer cousins love to play. There's nothing better than throwing shade at your opponents by smashing their faces in via a full-powered volleyball spike, and that's followed by a heart. Monty Boggs says Wayne Gretzky's 3D Hockey. I've never had an interest in hockey, but that game is great. Delvin, our buddy from Video Game Realness. That's a really hilarious show, by the way. Check that out, Video Game Realness. Delvin says Skate or Die is pretty rad. And also Paperboy. Yes, that's right, Paperboy. Because dodging bitches with bats and people exercising in the street and assholes who back out randomly is a sport. Of course, there's the bonus round that's actually more sports-like. Tech 2030 says SSX Tricky on PlayStation 2. It was insane, unrealistic, and I loved it. Renji221 says NBA 2K11. That was the first basketball I played in years. Eddie K says, always been a fan of most NHL games, being Canadian and all. Also, the most recent UFC games were really good, and although it's not technically a sport, I've always had a soft spot for pro wrestling games. Strudels89 says, I was a huge fan of NBA Street on the GameCube. Basketball is my favorite sport. I loved getting my meters up and just breaking the backboards doing those crazy tricks. Tim Tripp says, Bushido Blade. Kendo is totally a sport. Tiara says, if poker counts as a sport, since they show it on ESPN, well, sure, it counts, then my favorite sports game ever created is Triple Triad from Final Fantasy VIII. It's probably one of the most fun mini-games in the Final Fantasy series, other than Chocobo Hot and Cold. But it wasn't nearly as good as Chocobo Racers. Just saying, that game was the bomb. AZHP said, I just recently discovered a Neo Geo gem called Windjammers. I think it came out in America as Flying Power Disc. Darkstalker is probably the only person who heard of it, though.
I've heard of Windjammers, actually. I haven't heard of the U.S. one.
Codeman says, my favorite sports game is and always will be NBA Jam. I always played a lot of it in arcades and console, and, well, best catchphrases ever. Boom, shakalaka. Cyberjudge says, I have to say that I love hockey and soccer games in general, but the one game that sticks in my mind when I think of sports games is the very first sport game I owned on NES, Blades of Steel. The joys of 8-bit graphics, blue and red, nameless guys skating around, and fights out in the yin-yang. The best. Degenerate Johnny says, I'm going with Mutant League Hockey. Why? What's not to love about robots, undead, and trolls playing hockey together? Besides, the only hockey game that turns a traditional hockey fight into a brutal death match. Ryan B responds and says, here is the game that tops all sports games, Tecmo Bowl or Super Tecmo Bowl. It was way better than Madden, better than NFL Live or Blitz. Hell, I'm shocked that nobody said Daytona, USA. Haseo Sumerugawa says, I'm going to just say Mirror's Edge, because Parker is technically a sport, and the game is centered around using Parker to get around. So, yeah, otherwise NBA Jam on the Genesis because Boom Shakalaka. Backwards Glance says, Super Monkey Boxing, beating up a friend as a cute monkey. I also love their billiards. NFL Blitz is the answer from Matt J. The only traditional sports game I ever got into. Now, if you're willing to step beyond anything really traditional, then I'd go with Mario Kart. Have owned nearly every title in the series and loved every single one. Going over to Google Plus real quick, we just have a few answers over there. Reddertainment says Tiger Woods PGA Tour 2004. I like golf games in general, and Tiger Woods PGA Tour especially, but the 2004 model of the game is the first Tiger Woods game I really sunk my teeth into. The experience I had playing this game is what I compare other sports games to. Sam H. said NFL 2K5 had 3, 5, and 7-step drops with actual play verbiage, true pocket passing, and offensive lineman and receivers blocking correctly in the run game. And lastly, Jason. He's here tonight through the Fugle question, who says, the Mario sports games have been incredibly impressive. I had a ton of fun with Mario Strikers, Tennis, Virtual Boy, and GameCube alike, and really all the Mario Universe party games. I generally don't like golf games, but Mario Golf was fun and approachable with just enough charm and tweaks to the way the game played to make it really played to make it a worthwhile and even legitimate golf game. Really Hot Shots golf with a recognizable brand attached. So I'd probably pick NFL Blitz as my favorite after naming all those games. All right. There, I read all the answers because the last couple weeks I've been skipping some of the answers and I felt bad. How about you guys, quickly, like favorite sports games? Shane, do you have a sports game?
Yes, I played the crap out of Ken Griffey on Super Nintendo. It was part of, I think, the Nintendo Power Fest one year, and so I wanted to get good at it. I played it nonstop, and I ended up liking it a lot.
My favorite sports game, and I can't believe nobody named it, is Kirby's Dream Course on the Super Nintendo. It's because Zach Def didn't answer tonight. It's miniature golf. What? It counts.
He was too busy clopping.
I would also say, honestly, Wii Sports Bowling really changed everything in many ways. So I don't know. I kind of have to tip my hat to that too. But of course, I loved a lot of the stuff you guys named too, like NBA Jam and Blades of Steel. Of course. Xtofer?
I think the only sports game besides fighting games, if you consider that sports, I don't know. Would boxing be considered?
Sure,
I
why
mean,
not?
I love Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
Fifth Dream just said that in the chat, and I was like,
and
that's a really
Super
good
Punch
answer.
Out was like one of my favorite games
Sure, of course,
ever.
boxing's a
And
sport.
and NBA Jam, I liked that a lot too when that was around.
Jamie? I'll go over
Well,
to Matt.
actually, you just named all of the ones that I like too. Also, the one football game that I have to really say I liked was Super High Impact on the Super Nintendo.
Last but not least, Matt?
Not sure if I'd call it a sports game, but I really liked Excite Bike way back.
That game's
It's
awesome.
motocross.
So why not? Why not? There was a Game Boy version of that was really good. Or no, there was Motocross Maniacs, I think, was the Game Boy, and then there was Uniracer on the Super Nintendo, which kind of reminded me of Excite Bike.
Uniracer was fun.
I don't know why, but that game really reminded me of Excite Bike, and I really liked it.
I loved Excite Truck though. You know that.
Oh yeah.
Actually, there is a game. Why can't Hydro Thunder?
Oh yeah.
Hydro Thunder was super, super fun.
A lot of good racing games. out
yeah.
there. A lot of good stuff. All right, let's get back.
Let's just say F-Zero. It's a racing game.
That's a very good way of looking at it. Why not? F-Zero is amazing. All right, let's do some more news here before we get to some calls. Quickly, some updates on free games. Yay, free games. If you are an Xbox Live Gold member, you've got some free games coming your way. Dead Island is the free game right now. That's the original. But I'm sure if you like Dead Island enough, they'll be happy to sell you Dead Island, the new one. Riptide, is that the name of the new one? They'll sell you the sequel happily. But that's free right now if you want to experience Dead Island 1. Free starting on February 16th will be Toy Soldiers Cold War. I don't know anything about that game, but it's got like a Rambo-looking guy and a Guile-looking guy on the
Man,
front of it.
Xbox Live games they get for free are such crappy games.
Yeah.
Like, they must hate their customers. That's what I'm seeing off that picture. Now let's talk about PlayStation Plus.
Yeah, and then going over to PlayStation Plus, here's the free games that are coming out on PlayStation Plus. They just posted a February preview. On PlayStation 4, Outlast is going to be the free game on PlayStation 4.
So scary. I don't know if I can do it.
Right? On PlayStation 3, Metro Last Light, Payday 2, and Remember Me.
Solid titles.
Those are all going to be pretty good. And on the PlayStation Vita, this is pretty rad too. Mod Nation Racers Road Trip, which was an okay launch title, but Street Fighter versus Tekken, which, even though that game was kind of not the best fighting game, it's still a pretty high-profile title to be going free on the Vita. Again, with PlayStation Plus. Those are all coming in February.
But are they getting Dead Island, the first game from like 5 years ago?
No, they are not, actually.
Dang.
I know. Really upsetting. All right. If only there was like a Humble Bundle I could have bought a while ago that had that in it.
Oh, I think I got that one. But I did not get Dead Island because I did not install that.
All right, moving on. Dark Sakura.
Well, we do have other news. And it's actually really, really good news. There's been a study that came out that stated that playing relaxing video games actually will increase your positive social behavior. And they weren't just saying like just casual games. They included the Endless Ocean or the mini fishing game from Twilight Princess. They had Super Mario Galaxy, Wii Sports Resort. They even tested it against violent games, and they said that they used the noise blast test and basically said that it was the relaxing games caused better social behavior. Of course, it's not saying that violent games cause aggression, just saying that they were overall less relaxed than those who played the more calming games. So, I mean, it's kind of a common sense duh thing, but at least we have a study behind it. Video games are good for you.
It's always nice to hear more positive news like that come out of studies.
I find games where I kill lots of people to be highly relaxing, so that makes me a much better person.
Ace Trainer Jelly Bean, which, by the way, I really like that name in our chat room over at live.vognetwork.com, says, I believe it. Flower, the game, makes me feel so happy. It is. Flower is a very, like, zen kind of game. It's great.
I put it to how I use Fractal to calm myself down before I'm about to go melty.
I was talking about this last week, Minecraft. And when I was playing Minecraft and I was building that tunnel, somebody said, "Oh, you want to use World Edit to do it real quick?" I'm like, "No, I want to." It's like popping bubble wrap. I want to just click every little thing and make my own damn tunnel. I don't want to have the help. I mean, I appreciate it, but I don't want to. I want to do it myself. So.
Well, that's kind of how I feel about doing stuff in Minecraft as well. But a friend of mine showed me another iOS game that is called Art of Glow. Mm-hmm. And really it's just like having a moving light bright on your phone. But at the same time, it's super relaxing, and it gives another focus for, I think, any type of emotion that happens to pop up. Or, like how we all felt after playing a music game. You have the happy music, you have the activity that goes with it. And that really, I think, also changes the mental state.
Now, on the other end of the spectrum, I downloaded an iOS game this week that everybody's been talking about. An iOS game this week that everybody's been talking about called Flappy Bird.
Fucking hell.
This game is straight from the bowels of hell by Satan himself.
I refuse to play it.
Game.
Let me play it.
I have avoided.
You want to play it?
I've never heard of it.
I've avoided Candy Crush.
Flappy Bird. Okay.
I have avoided.
Okay, all you do is you tap the screen to flap the bird, and you're going to fly through the pipes. Okay?
And try not to hit Mario while you're at it. Because it looks like...
No, it's nothing to do with Mario. It's more Techno Kitten Adventure than Mario. Okay. Shane's... Oh, he died already before he even got to the first pipe. Way to go. You fly through the pipes.
You're supposed to not play it and play a good game.
All you do is you tap to flap, and you fly through the pipes. Way to go.
Did you say tap to flap?
Tap to flap.
This is the worst game. Did you pay for this?
No, it's free.
You get your money back.
You paid too much.
My best score is 11.
And then for the pony version, you bop to clop.
Shut up. Shane, do you have a Zen game that you play to relax and get yourself at peace? Like maybe you should have played it before coming to the show tonight.
Super Hexagon.
That game is stressful.
That game is awesome. I can just play it for like an hour and not even care.
That's like me playing Fractal. I kind of get a little frustrated with it, but I have such a good time.
Ragenator in chat says Dark Sakura wants to flip Flappy Bird the bird.
No, I want to pretend it doesn't exist in my version of reality.
Who makes it so I know not to get their games ever?
Xtofer or Matt, do you have a Zen game that you...
I'm going to go with Rocksmith 2014.
I second that.
Well, no, that's perfectly legitimate. Music is an outlet for the soul.
Do not justify his answer.
I'm totally justifying your answer.
Rayman Legends. I just want to get that one in there, too.
Well, I play Mass Effect 3 still because it's got a great engine. Even if I don't really care for the story in 3 as much as the first one, it has a great engine, and I get to shoot people and make my shepherd look pretty.
And that's calming.
Well, I don't know if these are Zen-like relaxing games, but they sure...
No, these are games also that make you want to scream.
These are awesome games. They're games by Treasure Games, which, they recently did a green light campaign for Ikaruga. Well, now Treasure is considering doing a new original game for PC. That's right, the makers of Gunstar Heroes and Bangai-O and, a lot of great classic shooter games, they could be making other games for Steam. This was from a comment from Treasure President Masato Megawa, who said, Ikaruga is the first one, and we don't intend on stopping there. There are some players who say, how about Radiant Silvergun? But we also don't intend to do only ports. We're thinking of making a new original title for the platform, Steam. Ooh.
Well, and keep in mind, Treasure, it's not just Radiant Silvergun and Ikaruga. They did Silhouette Mirage, which is like one of the best Saturn games ever.
Have you literally done every Treasure game as a classic game of the week now?
No,
at this
I
point?
have not, because I don't think I did Chameleon or Mischief Makers,
and
I don't think I've done. I've done Bangai-O. I've done.
Well, anyway.
I think I did Radiant Silver. I forgot to play that in arcade.
Do you want them to make a shooter? Or you want them to do something a little more?
I want more.
Outside the box?
I want more. Another platformer.
Right,
And Gunstar Heroes is freaking amazing. Which I'm still irritated at my husband because I bought him Gunstar Heroes for the Game Gear. He still has not opened the damn box.
Rude.
How rude.
Let's go to the mailbag. Dark Soccer's going to open up the mailbag box right now.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you
the
are.
The mailbag box?
Yes.
Is it a bag or a box?
It's both. It's a box made out of bag. All right.
It's one of those bags with like the hinged cover on it.
Yeah, it's shaped like a box.
It's a bag.
It's like a Chinese takeout.
It's a bax.
Thing. All right, anyway.
It's a bax.
Dark Soccer is going to go to your emails at mailbag@orangeloungeradio.com, and Dark Soccer is going to jump into the mailbag head first, and hopefully she doesn't drown in all those spam emails, but she's going to find the legit ones and read them now.
I have no idea what you're talking about, Elliot B. Hey OLR, I don't know if this will translate to radio, but I felt the need to share this inspired use of screenshots in the App Store. I have no idea if this game is any good. I'm going to click it, and it'll probably pull up my App Store.
If it pulls up Flappy Bird, I'm going to poop my pants from laughter.
Prisma Drop.
Oh, bummer.
I don't know. I don't think it's going to work.
Is this stealth advertising for... it's all like rainbows and pretty things.
I like rainbows and pretty things.
Wait, keep going, though. Like, I'm wondering, is there a joke in there? Like, if you look at all the screenshots, like, can't you swipe?
No.
Oh.
I don't see... Oh, there we go. No, that's just not very good. I think maybe you're thinking of the PC App Store, so no. Oh, it's trying to bring it up in my iOS App Store, and no, we have to look at it on a computer. This is from Imus, which I'm guessing is spelled EYEMUS. I'm guessing Imus. Or Ayamus, maybe? Hello, OLR. I'd first like to congratulate Loki on his new arrival and hope he has a lot of sleep and rest in the coming months. I'm writing because in the last week's show, I think you misunderstood the issue that the majority of people had with the Machinima debacle. The problem wasn't that they were paying YouTubers to say good things about Microsoft as part of an ad, but the fact that part of the contract said they were not allowed to mention that it was a paid ad in the first place, which is against FTC guidelines. And let me find where I was. This is an issue because it would be like if it was revealed that Dark Sakura was getting paid by EA to talk favorably about Mass Effect all this time and not because she actually loved the game. Well, that's not true.
You got us.
Or if Loki got money every time he mentioned GTA and how great it is. That's not true either. It would cause all listeners to take everything else that you say with a skeptical eye in the future, and your credibility would be shot, if it's not already. In every previous contract that Machinima and other outlets had with partners, they say that you must include the fact that this is a paid promotion, but for some reason, this deal with Microsoft said the exact opposite, that you can't mention it's an ad. Love the show and keep up the great work you guys do every week. Oh, thank you.
Thank you. And I thought we had talked about that. I mean, maybe we didn't. We talked a lot about that. I thought we had brought up that part of it was that, they weren't talking about it and mentioning it. And we kind of talked about how with product placement, a lot of times they don't mention it. But what that emailer did bring up that I don't think we really talked about last week was that stark difference between usually you do say it's an ad, and this was very different. But I still think a lot of the points that we brought up last week were still kind of valid, even considering what you're saying. But thank you for clarifying. Because,
Totally.
that is a very good point, that it's very different from what they were doing in the past.
Thank you for that email, I miss. Okay, this is another email. This is the last one. Hey, OLR, I've been listening to your podcast now for about 3 years, and while I'm a fan of the show, I never take the time to write in. I recently signed up on VOG Network under their username Andrew. Let me start off by saying congratulations to Loki on the new baby and to Jamie on her new fun job. That's right, it's called Fun Job. Mm-hmm. The reason for my email is because I recently started playing DC Universe on my PS4, and because I'm a noob at it, it's really difficult to find a party to join up with. Rob, I know you recently picked up a PS4, and if you or any listeners would like to make an OLR clan, that would be great. My PSN name is Andrew, as in ANDR_U. By the way, I typed this on my phone, so if there are any typos, tough titties, Jamie, deal with it. You did miss a comma, but I will let this pass.
Sorry, I missed.
You spelled everything correctly, so that's spelling is
What was there a question in there? Sorry.
No, I just wanted to say that he wanted to start an OLR clan on the PS4 DCU.
I haven't played a lot on DCU, I have to be honest. Not since the beta, and I started a new character, and I keep getting sidetracked because Final Fantasy 14 is my MMO right now. But I would be totally down with like a VOG clan. I would have to talk to Brad from Pod Culture. He's the resident DC Universe expert at VOG, and I'll have to see where he's playing and try to figure that all out.
Well, our reader here, Andrew, username is ANDR_U, Andrew. So, thank you. And that's it. I'm not reading anymore, even if there were more. I'm kidding. I would, but not.
So Bobby Black Wolf, our good pal from VogNetwork.com, just joined our chat room and said the emailer with the iOS App Store link is referencing the iPhone screenshots, not the iPad screenshots. I never realized there was a difference. I guess that makes sense.
Well, since I'm on my iPad.
Yeah, so maybe that's why it didn't make sense. Well, I'm going to bring it up right now.
You do that, Rob.
I'm working on it.
You know what, Raginator? I'm just going to boot you from the chat room right now for misspelling everything. I can do it, too. I'm not going to ban you.
Power trip.
But I'm going to boot you because I can, and it's hilarious.
Okay, so that would explain why it made no sense to you when you look at that. 2 more spam messages came in just in the time it took you.
You know what? I'm about ready to offer up something different, so.
Right? Annoying. Oh my God. Okay, it is way funnier on the iPhone. Now I get it. See? So there's like they play anytime, anywhere. Play birthdays, play while parenting, play on your commute, play at your own funeral. Okay, that's funny. Why aren't the iPads like Elliot's probably listening to the show going, did they not see the same thing I saw? No, we didn't. It's very different on iPad.
And LOL kidding, Raginator. By the way, Rob, I have a suggestion for you after the show.
Okay.
About our email situation.
Oh, yeah. Okay, great. All right. You done looking at that? You want to see this too, since everybody's laughing at this, Shane?
Actually.
Shane's too busy reading gossip websites. What are you reading on your phone over there?
I was reading about Harry Potter.
Reading about Harry Potter.
That's okay, because I used to read Harry Potter during the show.
All right.
Every time a new Harry Potter book would come out, I would just read the book on the show.
No, the one with the little baby crying.
All right.
Play on birthdays.
Let's get to the FUs. They can't hear you, expert. Let's get to the FUs of the week.
Oh, this is bad. Here is justice. Here is punishment. Here. This is fucked up.
FUs of the week time. Dark Sakura.
I guess I really don't have any. Well, okay, F you to making a new friend at work just to have him move to Tulsa, Oklahoma. That was a really fucked up situation. Fuck you to his ex-roommates. And I hope that life treats you better in Tulsa.
Except it's Oklahoma. Sorry, Codeman.
I'm just really, I don't know, I'm a little bit just irritated at double standards, I'll put it that way. But I love my job and I wish I could tell everybody where it is that I'm working. So cool job is super fucking cool.
All right. Shane, do you have any FUs of the week or FUs of the past 5 years?
The past 5 years, no.
All right, then how about Xtofer? Do you have any FUs of the week?
I don't have anything. I F you to life. Seppuku. No, I'm generally good, Rob.
All right, well, F you to being happy. You don't get the
No,
point of
I
this
take it
segment.
back. I got one.
What?
So, F you to my car dealership. I left my car there to get an oil change while I was gone, and they're keeping it for like the week I'm gone.
Yeah.
And they ask for my phone number in case something goes wrong. I'm like, okay, but you should already have it. So I give it to them. And on Thursday morning, I get a call from them at 6 a.m. Pacific time.
All right.
They don't leave a message. I'm like, holy crap, what's wrong with my car? I give them a call. Called the wrong number.
That's scary.
Yeah. So they're jerks.
Matt, do you have any FUs of the week?
Nope. Pretty happy.
God, y'all make me sick.
I have an FU.
What?
FU to all the fuckers that keep texting me and calling me. I keep getting
Thinking that
freaking
you're
wrong.
Rebecca or something?
No, Rachel.
Rachel.
And everybody wants to talk to Rachel, and she doesn't even bother telling anybody she dropped her phone.
No. You know what? Save a list of all of those people, send them a mass message, and then drop yourself from it so that they keep texting each other.
Oh,
You can
that's
do
actually
that?
so. I think that the Gold's Gym in Valencia needs to stop fucking calling me. I have called them and told them to take my number off
Okay,
their
you're
list.
blowing out people's speakers, Xtofer.
Sorry.
Calm down.
I have called them and politely asked them to change or drop my number, and they won't stop calling me. I'm like, I don't know who you guys are. Stop calling me.
Leave me alone, Rachel.
Yeah.
My FU of the week, actually things are fairly all right, so I don't have a lot of angsty stuff. FU to the fact that I missed all the fun this weekend when Shane got here because I had like other real life commitments and stuff like
I got here in
work.
the middle of the week, not even this weekend.
I know, but you know, I missed Espatu's sniff. Oh well.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, rub it in. That's
I had,
fine.
like,
That's fine. Alan and I
15
can go
chicken
whenever we want.
hearts. So
Did you demand everybody's chicken hearts?
no, me and Annie fought over them though.
Of course.
I wanted to go, but I'm poor.
All right. One more story for you guys. Then we're going to go to the Skype line at 1-877 game OLR. This one's really quick. You know, everybody's talking about Google Glass. Oh my God, y'all, Google Glass. Are you interested in Google Glass, Matt? Would you replace your glasses with Google Glass?
I don't know. It'd be fun.
Well, now they have games on it. Some games you can download on Google Glass are Tennis, Balance, Clay Shooter, Matcher, and Shape Splitter.
Do you just like
So-
move your head and shake it to
Well,
play?
So don't
tell you.
trust anybody driving with Google Glass on? Is that what we're saying?
Well, you probably shouldn't, but you can play these games with your Google Glass. I don't know where you would, but I guess where do we play games today? On the subway or something. You wouldn't look weird at all. Balance has you using Glass's gyroscope to balance books on your head. Sounds like fun. Clay Shooter is like a first-person shooter where you blast clay targets, like Duck Hunt or something. Matcher is memory, you know, the tile matching game. And Shape Splitter is like Fruit Ninja. And you can you imagine playing that game with your head, playing Fruit Ninja? You would look like
No.
you'd look like you have a tick or something. It would be very, very interesting. So there you go. You can play those games on Google Glass if you like. I guess it's just the start of what is to come. Xtofer, would you get Google Glass?
I don't think so. I saw a person with Google Glass at the Bay Street Mall in Emeryville a while back. That was kind of nifty, but they're like $1,500.
They're very expensive.
I don't want I don't need it.
Can you think of? I mean, think about all the world peace you could buy with $1,500. It's a lot.
Screw world peace. I want a damn new shiny new electronic.
That's what Google Glass is.
It's world peace.
No, it's a shiny new electronic.
Well,
Google
not
Glass,
in the
Shane?
form
No, I'm
of
not
Google
stupid.
Glass. Is what I'm saying. I want an Xbox One over Google Glass.
All right, we're gonna go and open up the Skype line, y'all. Our username on Skype, Orange Lounge Radio, or our phone number 1-877-GAME-OLR, and the phone is already ringing. So, they just disappeared. So, well, all right, somebody else is calling. So let's go to the next call. Hi, you're on Orange Lounge Radio. Who's this?
Hello?
Aló, bienvenidos a Orange Lounge Radio. Who's this?
Yo soy Mateo.
Is this Grandpa?
Is this Horde House?
No, this is not Horde House. This is Orange Lounge Radio.
Oh, shit, my bad. Where's the end call button?
Grandpa,
Rob Roberts.
what are you up to? Why aren't you here with everybody else?
I wasn't invited.
Yes, you were.
Why
You're
don't
always
you ever come to
invited.
visit me?
Yeah, why do you hate
Why
me?
don't you come to visit me? You and Jamie were going to come down to visit me in San Francisco, but then you abandoned me.
I
Yeah.
actually had my
She's-
first day of work.
She started Cool Job.
Jamie, your excuse is acceptable. Rob Roberts, no.
Well, to what do we owe this phone call tonight? Do you want to talk about video games? Is there something in the news you'd like to talk about?
Well, there was a major game that was played today that was a shit show for Denver Broncos.
Oh, was that the Puppy Bowl?
No, the Kitten Bowl.
Oh, Rob, my little kumquat. No, it was the Super Bowl, and it was a very, very depressing game. I was hoping that the Broncos would avenge the loss of the Niners to the Seahawks.
If you're gonna lose, don't you want to lose to the best? Oh, I just made Grandpa explode from logic. Everybody, look at that. Look at that.
Mind blown. No, I just want to say hi. I'm a long-time listener, first-time caller.
You have never called OLR before, have you?
No, you never invited me to.
I invite everybody to call. Did you not hear me? Just say when he said, "What are you drinking?"
I was drinking vodka orange juice. It's the only thing I have left in the house.
You know what's at my house right now?
Frivolo.
Home infused vanilla vodka
Sounds good.
and mocha vodka that I also infused, and Metaxa.
Why is your elixir not all inside my mouth?
Because you're not at my house.
Why
Why?
don't you guys get a room?
Party at Dark Sakura's house after the show.
Totally. Except I have to
Oh.
work tomorrow.
Well, now, here's the best idea. Do you take your pink berry and pour some of that vodka goodness on top?
That sounds good.
Yeah, it does. So.
Maybe.
I just want to say call and say hi, and I'm looking forward to seeing Rob Roberts and his entourage Tuesday night as Shane departs back to the unforgettable, hospitable land of the Midwest.
Tell everyone my personal schedule. Why don't you?
Well, you said your schedule's the homosexual agenda, which means what? Breakfast at 8, Democratic posturing at 10:30,
NPR for lunch.
definitely, and then
Love
adopt a
NPR.
gay bee at 1:30 p.m.
You're such a jerk.
Head to Grandpa's at 5:30.
All right. Do you want to plug your other little? I know you cannot leave this show until you plug your other little project.
It's like you know me.
I know.
Well, I wanted to make a gratuitous plug to my up and coming, one episode anyway, project called the Starboard Power Coupling Podcast. It's a Star Trek podcast you hope doesn't fail.
There better be
and
lots of DS9.
What's that?
There better be lots of DS9.
We were a little Star Trek Online Voyager heavy this last time, but all three hosts, we've got Lieutenant Commander Eddie, who's been on Orange Lounge Radio in yesteryears, and Dr. Ken, who's been on Horn House before. We all have our different favorite series, and we do talk about them, so check us out. We've only got one episode under our belt. It is a project. We're a little rough around the edges. We're not as refined and caviar-esque as Orange Lounge Radio after 2 decades.
Yeah,
so.
I was like, this is episode 538.
We are totally
If-
whale eggs here.
If you listen to episode 1, it was a hot ass mess. Episode 1 was a hot ass mess. It
I
was
had
fun.
a migraine and passed out after the show.
Yeah, but
Damn, and you're still going at it almost 12 years later.
I
I
would-
took 2 days off and lived in the Harry Potter closet in a gay frat house.
before the other boys got here, I was sitting here with Dark Sakura before the show going, Dark Sakura, that's 538 weeks we've been sitting here doing this show. It's so crazy.
Plus or minus your vacations, plus or minus
Yeah,
all that.
yeah.
It might be more like
Close
600.
enough. Close enough. All right. Grandpa, I'm going to go ahead and let you go so we can get more calls because I know there's other people trying to get through. But thanks for calling, and everybody listen to Horde House on Wednesday, all right?
Can I at least give the website where to go to?
Oh, yeah.
Jesus. I can't take you anywhere.
Sorry, you're not on iTunes.
Jesus doesn't have internet.
Jesus, take the wheel. Right now, before we get to iTunes, go to facebook.com/starboardpowercoupling. You'll find questions and things to get involved with, as well as the first episode. So check us out, and we look forward to your feedback and hopefully many, many more episodes on a podcast.
Starboard Power
Coupling.
Because
Thank
you say it so freaking fast.
Get on iTunes and all that crap.
It's my
Stitcher.
project tonight, actually.
All right.
Fine, I'll get off your line now.
Great. Bye.
Bye.
1-877-GAME-OLR, or your username on Skype is Orange Lounge Radio. Tech2030 in the chat room saying, is there anywhere to listen to really old episodes of OLR? Yes. Let's go to the phones. I don't like to give it out because it was such a different show that it's Ask Dart Tetsuya. He's in the chat room and he has the link to the archive for the really diehard. But I always get the footnote. It was a mess in the beginning, but it was a good way. I'm proud of it, but it was just very different. Don't expect to hear what you hear now. All right, we're gonna go to the phones, take another call. Hi, you're on Orange Launch Radio. Who's this?
Dave. Holy crap! I actually just got through.
Holy crap! I know it is kind of hard to get.
Holy crap!
It is kind of hard to get through the show sometimes. What's up, Dave?
Not much. Just finished up dropping my brother off at UMass Amherst, and I have told myself for probably the last 3 months I would call in and say something, and I just would always end up busy on Sunday nights.
Well, here
this.
Here you are, Puppy Bowl Sunday. You made it on what's actually a pretty crowded show. What do you want to talk about? What's up?
Well, I want to start off with one question for you guys. I've kind of polled my friends who play video games, and it seems like I'm alone on this. Do any of you guys ever get motion sick playing first-person shooters?
Yes.
Here we go.
Yes. Absolutely.
Because, I've got a PS4, and I got Battlefield 4 with it, and I can basically only play half the game. I have to play with a friend of mine, and we sort of switch off, where he does all the gunfights, and I just fly jets. That's all I do.
I get super motion sick on a lot of games, not just first-person games. Katamari Damacy makes me sick, which sucks because I love the game. Mass Effect used to make me sick. Actually, all of the Mako missions make me really nauseous.
You have some interesting particulars about that, though. Like, if you... And, I mean, it's just the way it is. I'm not trying to, make fun of or make light of the situation, but it's just interesting how you've kind of learned what does and what doesn't trigger it. Like, didn't you say that Mass Effect, part of the reason you're okay with that is because it's third person, not first person?
Exactly.
That's a big difference?
Exactly. If I have a character on the screen, then I'm not as likely to get motion sick because it gives me a different focus. But sometimes I get motion sick in multiplayer.
And you can play Doom and 3D games that were sprite-based, right?
Yes, but sometimes they still make me motion sick depending.
Depending.
But for the most part, I was fine with them.
So now,
Sonic Adventure made me motion sick.
Dave, is it just these new games that are doing it to it? Are the games getting too real and that's the problem?
Yeah, it's when I was in high school, me and my friends would play Counter-Strike all the time, and I never had a problem with that. But my friends tried to get me into Black Ops 2, and it's just something about the fact that they just want to try and simulate being a person in the game and having all that screen shake and the explosions and the suppression, where my brain goes, that this isn't real, this isn't happening, so I'm going to make you vomit now.
How big's the TV that you play on?
I play on anything from the 25-inch IPS monitor in my bedroom all the way up to a 60-inch plasma at my friend's place.
Do you think that might be part of the problem? Because when you play on a monitor, you're usually sitting up really close, so it's almost just as big as a 60-inch TV in some ways. Do you think that could be the issue?
I don't know, because usually I get more motion sick on the bigger TVs than I do on my own monitor.
I get more motion sick the lower the resolution is on the screen I'm using. For example, on our old 32-inch Toshiba. And it was a full CRT, everything. I would watch Dan play GoldenEye on Nintendo 64, and I've thrown up watching him play that game before. But I've gone back and watched emulated playthroughs from a computer and haven't been as sick. So,
I mean, the thing I've kind of settled on that I've accepted as an answer for myself is that something about gunfights in some of these games, with all the screen movement that's going on, when things change really, really quickly in front of my eyes in some of these video games, it just doesn't seem to sit right with my head, whereas I can, fly the jets around in Battlefield 4 no problem.
Well, let me ask you another question. When you see polygon clipping, does that make your head hurt?
Could you tell me what that actually is first?
It's when the collision doesn't hit for two items and one polygon will go through another one. And I'm not talking about so much as like seeing someone's arm go through the wall, but when you actually see the other side of the polygon that you're not supposed to.
Oh, when you can see like the other level or things like the other side of the level, stuff like that.
Yeah.
This happens in Minecraft a lot, I notice. This happens in Minecraft a lot.
Yeah, okay, I know what you're talking about now.
Does that
that
affects you?
doesn't really bother me, no.
Because see, that affects me. That's why part of my problem is with the first Sonic Adventures, there was a lot of just a lot of camera issues with the polygons, and it would just be just for a moment like my head would shut down, and then when it was gone, I was better. It was just a really weird thing. But I have issues with depth perception too, so.
Well, sadly, Dave, I can't sit here and come up with solutions for you. I think that's something you might have to actually bring up with the doctor. And I think a lot of it could just be, you got to look away more often and take more breaks. I know I cannot watch an entire 3D movie in the theater without looking away from the screen every few minutes.
Yeah, I have a problem with 3D. My problem is MS related, but so maybe you have MS.
No, don't say that.
I'm saying my problem is definitely related to that, so I can't do 3D.
And
okay, that was like WebMD diagnosing you right now. WebMD always tells you got cancer. Sorry, you got a cough. Oh, it's probably cancer.
And mine may be related to autism. So.
But just you aren't alone, Dave. I see in our chat room at live.vognetwork.com, Fifth Dream says, I do very much. Killzone kicked my ass. Some bother me more than others. Chris109 says, Killzone was fun, but yeah, I had 2 or 3 dizziness. Fifth Dream says, Serious Sam was pretty bad. Fifth Dream says, the odd thing is I've noticed I get really motion sick when I'm looking for something. If I'm just running and shooting and stuff, I'm better than if I'm trying to find an objective or an item. That searching makes me really sick.
Yeah, that happens to me too. But 2 more really quick things.
Yeah, of course.
I know you guys got to let me go. One, to answer what Dark Soccer was saying earlier about why do celebrities kind of get the pass on doing stupid things, or why are they put on this pedestal when they pass away? I think that for a lot of people, it's that this person has contributed something to their life, whereas the random guy on the street who would otherwise just be a junkie really hasn't.
I still kind of see that, but I still believe there's a lot of double standard in place.
I think Dark Soccer comes from the place of why don't we show compassion the same? I mean, I think you get why people might feel that connection with celebrities when we see them fall or whatever, but it's like, why don't we have that same compassion? I guess would be the same.
Yeah, I really think that's it. I think that society as a whole needs to stop being as judgmental and look at every individual life as something that's important.
Yeah.
Funny story.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Xtofer, real quick, and then we'll let Dave finish.
Somebody back when I was going to school in college told me that I look like Seymour Hoffman.
Oh, that's got to make you feel real good today.
Yeah. Well, I wonder if he looked like me when he's keeled over.
Stop it.
You are a bad person.
Okay, you were saying, Dave.
Dave, please finish your thought.
But the very last thing, this is just sort of a technical thing I've noticed, because I started listening to this show probably like April of last year. On the way back from a White Mountains camping trip.
Nice.
But I don't know kind of how you guys have the volume set up between the microphones, whether there's multiple or not. But something I've noticed, because I usually listen to this in my car or on my laptop, is that Jamie's voice is, compared to someone like, let's say, Jason, who has a bassier voice, it's much, much louder. So I keep on doing this thing where I'm like, oh, Jason's talking, and I have to turn the volume up. And then Jamie comes on, I have to turn the volume down.
It might have to do with pitch.
We try to balance the mics best we can, but unfortunately we are using hand mics. I don't have a studio set up. We don't really have the finance to get the mics that are in place that pick up from where a person's sitting. And with the hand mics, if somebody moves the hand to a different position, or I can mic balance for somebody before the show, but and not to pick on Loki, because we love Loki, but Loki will give me a mic check before the show where he's talking like in his normal voice, but then he gets really mad about Nintendo or some shit during the show, and he gets really loud. It's like, God damn it, I didn't balance your mic for that. So
I have a friend tells me it's my Welsh blood. When I get worked up, I get higher pitched.
Yeah, so sadly, it's not just you. I am if there's sound engineers out there that have some tips, some ideas, I'm more than open to it. So
when you say hand mics, are you talking like the kind of microphones you would normally sing into at like karaoke?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I might end up donating like a blue mic to you guys then.
Wow.
Thank you.
I'm not gonna.
I
sign
have
off
a
of
blue
that.
mic, and they're pretty nice.
Alrighty.
Yeah,
hey.
those things are pretty neat.
All right.
But
Well, you know
I
where to
figure it'll
email
be worth it for my ears in the long run.
us.
Well, I'm trying not to be overly loud, so.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll try to
Cool.
keep a better eye on it.
Thanks for taking my call. Hope you guys have a good one.
All right. Take care,
too.
buddy.
All right, bye.
Bye. Yeah, I do notice, like, if you're listening on headphones, usually it's whatever, it works fine. But if you listen in the car, I have listened to the show in the car, and it does kind of, you notice the volume differences. So I really try to adjust that stuff on the fly best I can. But some things, like Xtofer's little fit he threw earlier where it got really loud, some things you can't foresee. So,
But if there's anything we learned about that call, it's that guy probably has MS.
stop it.
Stop. Actually, I sort of get the same way with certain people's voices. Like, for example, I can't listen to Sarah Brightman. No, I'm serious.
Are you sure that's not just because it's bad? Or
No, Sarah Brightman's got a gorgeous voice, but she's too brassy of a soprano for me to listen to without being uncomfortable. You know, I'm just saying as an example, sometimes pitch has a lot to do with it.
All right, well, let's move on because we got another call on the line. Hi, you're on Orange Launch Radio. Who's this?
Hey, it's Sturlock.
Hey, Sturlock. How
Hi,
you doing?
Sturlock.
Pretty good.
What's on your mind tonight, buddy?
A lot actually. I wanted to talk about something very, very cool that happened.
Please, you've been teasing me on Twitter all week.
Yes.
What's up?
This is huge. So, Dark Sakura, as noticed, I'm sure, because you added me,
Yes.
that I have taken the plunge and I am now on Steam.
Yes.
There is a very good reason for this. And it has to do with Skullgirls.
Mm-hmm.
I love Skullgirls.
Isn't it great?
Yes, it is.
Well, the developer, Mike Z, has been very, very open in the community in general. And just recently, a buddy of mine named Liren was talking to him about a lot of the text that's in the game. Because, he's blind like I am. And, he wanted to, play online and, get some enjoyment out of, the story mode. And basically, they came up with a method of doing this where if you set a certain option in the launcher properties or whatever it is through Steam, that now all of the text will output directly to the clipboard, with the end result, if you run a certain program, will speak from your screen reader will say any text that copies to the clipboard. So now we actually have a mainstream game that is fully voiced with all of the text.
That's super
So
useful.
wait, there's no
Everything.
other game?
Menus, story. Like, a group of us actually yesterday gone on. We'd set up a Skullgirls Team Talk channel, and we're just hanging out, like 5 of us, just doing Queen of the Hill. It was fucking awesome.
Wait, so this is really the first game on Steam that has that kind of accessibility option? Because
This is the first game, period.
that kind of shocks
That's done
me.
this.
And
Like-
not in a good way. Like, I'm really surprised that. Well, I mean, are there?
Sorry.
Get the phone. Somebody knows you're on the line. Is this just the first one that copies the clipboard? Because I know there's other games that will talk through the subtitles for you, right, and things like that.
But this is the first game that is where the developer has actively just gone out of their way to make things easier for us. Well, actually, that's not entirely true, because Injustice did something similar last year with the interactable objects. But to like this level, I now can do anything that that anybody else would do. I can go online. I can set up a lobby with no trouble whatsoever. It's amazing. Like,
that's awesome news. I'm really happy to hear it, especially a game that has such a following like Skullgirls does. That's really neat that you can kind of be a part of that officially now, so to speak. I mean,
yeah.
I'm
So
sure
I
you
immediately,
did that before.
oh, by the way, for blind, setting up Steam is a fucking pain in the ass.
So maybe Valve needs to take some cues, huh?
Oh my god. I mean, it's doable, but oh my god.
Let me ask this question. We're a little pressed for time, so I'm going to wrap up here in a minute. But let me ask this question because I've got at least one game developer here in the room, and I know we have others that listen. What would you say to all the game developers out there of the world and so forth? Like, how can they best help you play their or experience their stuff? How can what can they do to help you out, to help you enjoy video games?
Sound design is a big thing. Keeping up in mind, I guess, too.
Don't forget about me, type of thing. Not
yeah,
to
I guess,
not to say
but,
people
like,
do, just to be clear, but
Yeah, but like, I don't know. I think if you're going to, I think it's really important to have, and I know this isn't really possible in a lot of cases, but with the Skullgirls thing, they were basically chatting on like IRC, and we're having just an open dialogue. Where it's like, how can we do this kind of thing? What would be the easiest way?
Right. Start a dialogue. Talk about
Yep.
it. Sounds good. All right. Well,
And it was really easy for him to set up, apparently, too. It only took like a couple days.
oh, that's awesome.
Oh, by the way, is not. I'll have to kick your ass in Skullgirls at some point, Jamie.
We'll see if that happens.
Bring it. I think we'll bring it. All right, Sterlach. Yeah.
Also, I wanted to give you a link to a good Mortal Kombat video.
Okay.
If you search for Tato Salad, finish him.
I'm afraid of what I'm gonna see.
Oh my god, it is the funniest shit ever.
Uh-oh.
I don't know.
It's
$5
fantastic.
foot long thing.
$5 foot long was pretty good.
Yeah.
All right.
This is great.
All right. Let me Tato salad finish him. I'm looking it up right now. Let's see what happens. This looks scary. All
It's
right.
by Go Potato TV.
Yep, I see it. Let's see. I'm trying to see if there's an ad or something. Okay, no, here we go. All right, I'm gonna play a little bit. If this is awful, I'm holding you responsible.
It's epic.
It's like fake animation or something. You've seen this
Finish
game?
him.
Finish
Wait.
him.
Before you do that, massage him.
Massage him?
You dare defy the great Shao Kahn?
You gotta
Lord
play
of
this
the
whole thing.
outworld and
Oh, this is
creator
too
of
long.
all that
It's
is
3
evil.
minutes. I can't play the
Well,
whole
I'll
thing.
watch it when I get home.
Yeah.
We'll have to look
I
at it later.
say, massage him.
All right, fine.
And then what? Then it's make out with him,
Oh,
kiss
yeah,
him.
yeah.
Is this good?
Yep.
That's good. Yeah,
Oh,
loosen
gosh.
up those muscles. Oh, you're so tense.
All right. I gotta go wrap up the
Maybe
show.
we'll make this a fortune cookie
You're turning
later.
this into pornography.
Yes, that is definitely fortune cookie material.
Didn't even take Xtofer to do that. All right, take care, buddy. Thanks for letting us know about that. That's a really cool
Yeah, all right.
change.
Thanks.
All right, take care.
Yeah, you too.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. Sadly, I think that is going to do it for calls tonight. I'm really sorry to those that didn't get through, but we are trying to wrap up here about midnight East Coast time, 9 o'clock West Coast tonight. So we're going to wrap up. That's about it for the show tonight. I do want to ask real quick, are there any last-minute stories? I don't know if Darkstalker has anything or... Oh, I know what I'll ask about. Before the show, Matt, you were telling me something about EVE Online that we never brought up, and I thought it was really funny.
Well, I don't know the exact details, but I was just reading around through the news, and they apparently had a really huge epic battle.
I heard about this, yeah.
In EVE?
And since EVE has a exchange rate where you could buy in-game currency with real dollars, you could actually calculate how much real value worth of stuff have been destroyed in that gigantic war. And I think it was like priced over 200,000.
Damn.
That's a lot. I can't believe there's that much money sunk into that game. I don't hear about a lot of people playing EVE, but I guess so. All right. Quickly, I do want to mention this because Tiger Claude messaged me this, and I thought it was worth mentioning because a lot of you guys like your Sony franchises. There's a new Sly Cooper movie being made, and it's being directed by Kevin Monroe, who made the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles CGI movie, for better or worse. But
Hey, I liked that.
yeah. All right. Well,
Yeah,
then
it was
maybe you'll like this Sly Cooper. They did announce that they've got a little teaser trailer out there on the internet, and yeah, it's being made, and it's slated for release in 2016 and in 3D. So very cool. There's a teaser trailer out there on Twitter and all that if you want to check it out. I'm going to see real quick if we have Twitter topics. I know this is really interesting radio. So,
Well, in the meanwhile,
yeah.
I will serenade our listeners with. Actually, I'm not gonna.
That's actually really it. I don't really see a lot of tweets tonight, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. That's it. No tweets.
Ribbons and bows.
Yeah. Black Wolf does want to clarify, though, there isn't that much money sunk into Eve. That's if you converted all the in-game money into how much it would cost to buy a Plex. Not all that money that was lost was once real money. Some was earned in-game. Anyhow, so we're going to go ahead and wrap up and get on out of here for the night. Dark Soccer, I know you're trying to leave because you've got work in the morning.
Yeah, but this will change in 2 weeks when I'm on my other schedule.
Woohoo! So do you have any final thoughts for our listeners tonight?
I wish I could have ramen.
Ramen sounds good, doesn't it?
Yeah, but I can't.
We might not end up having that tonight anyway, so we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see.
Bye.
Bye. I'm going to say, as always, thank you very much for downloading our show. Thank you for tuning in. Really appreciate it. All we ask, we don't charge for the show, so just tell a friend or 5 or 20 about the show. Help spread the word. Reviews go a long way as well. If you wouldn't mind leaving us a nice review on iTunes or Stitcher Radio's website, those go an awful, awful long way, and we really, really appreciate it. Going around and saying goodbye to our guests. Shane, thanks for coming all the way from Kansas to be here.
You're welcome.
You didn't really say a whole lot besides one really tasteless thing, but that's okay.
What? There was nothing tasteless about talking about Power Rangers.
We'll come back sometime.
Maybe.
All right. And do you have a final thought for listeners tonight?
Go away.
Why would you? How rude! You go away.
I'm about to once we end the show.
You go away for 5
we can
years.
go eat.
All right. Xtofer, I hope you had fun. You've been wanting to crash the show
I had a
for
lot
while.
of fun. It's been fun.
It's been a long time. Do you have final thoughts for our listeners tonight?
I want to have raw men.
You're so weird.
That's
all right.
great. That's great, Xtofer. I know. Thanks.
Listen to Horde House. Thank you, Shane. All right. Because Rama made that mistake earlier. Because Rama made that mistake.
Oh.
All right, forget it. All right. All right, Matt, thank you very much for being here, and I apologize for the behavior of the other 2 guests you had to be on the show with tonight. But,
I've just really been awful. I'm sorry.
He loves me no matter what.
But you were a lot of fun to have on the show.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for some of the candid discussion earlier about development and everything. Appreciate it. All you need is a piece of paper and a dream.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
mean, I encourage anyone if to continue to pursue game design if that's your dream.
Awesome.
Don't let anyone down.
I must be doing really well because I have a Moleskine book in my purse and a big imagination. No, I'm kidding.
All right. Any final thoughts for our listeners tonight?
Just
Matt?
play some Rocksmith 2014.
Sounds good. Will do. All right, that's going to do it for our show tonight. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We're out of here until next week. Loki's tentatively back next week. Jason might be back for one more week next week, so it'll be kind of the usual suspects, and we'll have fun with whatever should come up in the news. In the meantime, have a lot of fun gaming, and don't be a jerk to each other. We'll see you next time here on Orange Lounge Radio. Good night.
You've been listening to Orange Lounge Radio. Orange Lounge Radio is a production of OLR Studios. To join us for a live show, tune into VogNetwork.com Sunday nights at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. The views and opinions expressed in this program do not necessarily reflect those of the staff of Orange Lounge Radio or VOG Network, but you know they were all still true. See you next week.